Oh, no, I totally oh, no. Wait, I just, like, totally okay, I didn't realize that that was gonna do that. Sorry. I didn't realize that hitting, like, the close screen was gonna, like, obliterate it. My bad. Um, hey, what's up? How's it going, Lizzie? What's up, Lizard? How we all doing? How we all feeling? How we all vibing? What's the vibe? What's it like? How does it feel to lose? Explain infinite regress? Um, there's, like, some weirdness there, like, I agree. It's not easy to wrap your mind around it, but there are a lot of features of reality that are like that, you know? I don't think it's easy to wrap your mind around what's happening in quantum mechanics, and in fact, you know, the more I learn about physics, the harder it is to grasp what's going on, but, you know, I probably can't tell you anything that you don't already know, but, you know, I think I have, like, some sense of, you know, the numbers go back infinitely, but I don't know, it is, like I agree. It's kinda hard to make sense of. Dude, I have, like, a spiritual need. I have a spiritual need to debate this, like, Jesus and whatnot guy. This guy is like a and I say this, like, fully meaning it. This guy's a LARPer. This guy's like an actual LARPer. I don't know. I see directly through him. There was like a profound amount of confusion. He said that infinite regress is a non sequitur. Being a non sequitur is a property of arguments. If if something isn't an argument, calling it a non sequitur is a category error. That's kind of basic. And also, like, saying that the principle of sufficient reason is a law of logic, that's just not true. Like, just I don't know. I think anyone who takes that seriously should just literally Google, "Is the principle of sufficient reason a law of logic?" It's a principle of metaphysics, is what it's typically taken to be. And there are also a lot of intelligent people that reject it, a lot of Christians that reject it. Like, really famous Christians, like Swinburne, Richard Swinburne over at Oxford, he rejects it because he thinks God is contingent. He thinks that God is contingent on the basis that in order for God to be like a morally praiseworthy being, in order for God to, like, he would need to have libertarian free will, which would involve the ability to do wrong. Um, so obviously, somebody like Swinburne isn't going to accept the principle of sufficient reason, even one that's restricted to contingencies. What's more, you know, you have really intelligent people, like arguably one of the greatest living metaphysicians, Peter Van Wagen. He also rejects PSR because it leads to necessitarianism. You know, it's a controversial assumption. Wait, what? How can that be? Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Sure. Um, does the B theory of time get around PSR? I don't know why it would. Well, yeah, yeah. So Jesus and whatnot is like he was like, you know, what's the PSR? And then he gives some non-standard reading of the PSR. He gives a PSR that's like way too strong. You don't want to say that God's nature explains his existence, especially if you're a Thomist, because then you end up having to say that God's existence explains his existence because his nature is identical to his existence if you're a Thomist. There's just like a million mistakes. He made like a million mistakes. It's kind of unbelievable. But yeah. Anyway, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe. Oh, so people are asking. The PSR, it's called the principle of sufficient reason. There are a lot of formulations of it. Some people are going to say that the principle of sufficient reason holds that everything has a sufficient reason, like every fact has a sufficient reason for why it obtains as opposed to not obtaining, for why it's true as opposed to false. But, there are versions of it that range over a lot of different types of things. So, for example, maybe you want to say that all contingent facts have an explanation for why they are true instead of false. Or maybe you want to take it away from facts entirely and you want to say every contingent thing, every being, every object that's contingent, each one of those has a sufficient reason for why it exists. But yeah. Anyway, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. Oh, by the way, I challenged Jesus and whatnot to a debate. He hasn't responded, so we'll see. We will see. I think Parker picked bad battles to fight on. I think that the real brutal questions, I think that you should be running against that argument. The Proclus dilemma, unfortunately, just goes insane. Either God was always creating. Oop. Like Molly, like this. Like this, like this. Sorry, I'm getting guidance. Okay. All right. Let's go to the very first one. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Ian?
Yeah, how old are you?
15.
You gotta be 18 or older. That guy did not sound 15. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Yep, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born?
2007.
Chat, is this real? What religion are you?
I'm Jewish.
I don't know. How's it going?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? How old are you?
Yeah. What's good, man?
Could I hear some splashing in the background?
I'm 32, Ian. How you doing, brother?
Doing well. Yeah. What religion are you?
Christian. Where's the glasses, man?
Are you like a wind tunnel?
What?
I don't know. It's like your audio's not great, but okay, whatever. That's fine. We can move past that.
Where's your glasses?
Where's my glasses? I don't know. Downstairs. Yeah. What makes you think God exists?
I don't think I know he exists, brother.
Based on what?
He revealed himself.
Why would God want to reveal himself?
You said what?
Why would God want to reveal himself?
To know that he's real and have a relationship with us?
Sure. Well, if that was God's goal, then why wouldn't God just write in the stars Christianity is true in every religion or in every language on earth? Why wouldn't he just come back every 5 years? That would do a way better job.
Hold on. Is that what you want or is that what God wants?
That would be the optimal way to achieve the goal. So that's the problem, right? If God is a perfect being, then God would take the perfect action to achieve the goal, because the goal would get achieved better, as it currently stands. There's only
do you know that?
30. Whoa, let's just calm down there. I'm literally trying to explain it to you. Can you summarize back the explanation that I just gave, or were you not listening?
How do you know that?
Was the strategy just to come in here, ask a question you were hoping that I didn't have an answer to, and then get spawn killed and then just spam how do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that? Do you think that's like the winning rhetorical look?
Explain that.
Okay.
All right,
can you summarize back to me what I just said, or were you not listening?
Explain yourself again.
Explain yourself again. Yep, that's good. If God is a perfect being and God has a goal, then he's going to take the perfect means to achieve that goal. Otherwise, he would be an imperfect being. But the perfect means to achieve the goal is going to be the most efficient means to achieve the goal. If God's goal is to have everybody know that he exists, there are way more efficient ways to let everyone know that he exists than revealing himself to one person. So, for example, God could write in the sky, in the stars, in every language on the planet, Christianity is true. he could come back every 5 years and say, "What's up? I'm God. I'm back. Christianity is true." If he did that, everyone would believe in him.
So here's the issue, Ian. Listen to me carefully, brother. There's no difference between you and Satan. This is what Satan taught to you. This is not what God
W
wants.
response.
Why are you laughing, Mr. Ian?
Because what you said was hilarious.
Huh? Why are you laughing? Why is that funny?
Because you're funny. You know, your response is funny. I laid out like a careful philosophical
How's
argument.
that funny?
And then your response is like, basically, this is what Satan
Dude, that's what he did. This is why this is a true story. This is what Satan did. He said, "Oh, well, maybe it should be this way. I should do it this way. I'm better than God. It should be this way." And it's exactly the reason why God kicked him out of heaven, because of people like you.
Let me help you out
All you're
here.
doing is presupposing.
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me know when you're done having your soy meltdown.
Hold on. Let me
go
finish.
for it. Yeah. Finish your soy meltdown. Go for it.
Right. All is presupposing that your way is better than God's way. Which you wouldn't know that because you don't believe in God and God hasn't revealed itself to you. So you wouldn't know his ways and what is better because you're not God. Now respond to that.
Believe in him. Yeah, let me formalize this argument. So premise 1, if Christianity is true, then God is perfect and has the goal of having everyone believe in him. Premise 2, if God is perfect, then he takes the optimal means to achieve his goals. The means God took to achieve this goal is suboptimal. Therefore, Christianity is false. There you go. There's the counter argument.
What? Dude, just because you write something down and then say it doesn't make it true. Like, just because you write something down.
Yeah, just because you can't read doesn't make it false.
True. Okay, hold on. Just because if somebody believed 2 + 2 was 5, does it make it true?
No, I agree.
Just because you're writing this down. Exactly. Just because you're writing this down and coming up with a different... Huh?
Are you interested in why these things are true?
It's not true. This is your thinking. This is not God's logic.
Yeah, which of these 3 premises would you reject? Which of these 3 premises are false?
Than your thinking. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, which of these 3 premises are false? So we got premise 1, if Christianity is true, then God is perfect and has the goal of having everyone believe in him. Premise 2, if God is perfect, then he takes the optimal means to achieve his goals. Premise 3, the means God took to achieve this goal is suboptimal. Therefore, Christianity is false. It's cut off? Wait, in what direction is it cut off?
Okay, so you telling me... Okay. It's towards the end, brother. Towards more to the... It'll be our right, so I think it'll be your left.
Wait, so if I do this, is this better?
No.
Damn.
No, brother. But it's all right. I get your
Worse.
point. But let me... So you want me to pick... You want me to pick between these 3?
Yeah. It'd be nice.
Is this what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so hold on. Before I do this, right? This is your way of thinking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's logic.
Okay, so
unfortunately, the conclusion
no, it's not.
No. Yes.
Whose logic? Whose logic?
It's logic. Logic is objective. Well, I guess to the Christian, even logic is subjective. You know, I know ethics are subjective. I know truth is subjective to the Christian, but it turns out logic is also subjective in the Christian worldview.
Ian, whose logic?
Logic is objective. It's a category error.
Logic.
It's a category error.
Ian, I'm asking you a question, brother.
It is a category error. Logic is objective. It's not somebody's logic.
So secular logic or Christianity logic?
Logic is objective.
All right. So you don't want to answer the question.
It's a category error.
you know you're cooked.
Wow. I don't think I'd be saying a claim like
Okay,
that after a
okay,
debate performance like yours. I think that reveals like a fundamental
okay.
lack of understanding of the events
Let
that
me
just
explain
took
to you.
place. Wait, so I can help you understand, sometimes a
No, you're not
question has a
comprehending. You're not
presupposition that's
comprehending.
baked into it, and that presupposition is false. So for example, if I asked you the question, when did you stop beating your wife? That presupposes that there was ever a time that you did beat your wife. So if that's false, well, you would need to reject the question. You couldn't give a specific date and you couldn't say never. You'd have to say, no, you've presupposed something that's false. Likewise, the question whose logic presupposes
I,
something
I
that's
am,
false. It presupposes
I
that
am.
logic is
Your logic
subjective
is
as
false.
opposed to
No,
objective.
no. Your logic is false. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't believe in your logic.
You don't
Same as
believe
if I don't
in
believe
like
in.
valid
I
inference
don't believe in. Hold
rules.
on. I don't believe in your worldview.
Okay.
The same
I
way as
mean, I
that. The
grant
same way
that,
as
right?
hold on, Ian. The same way as we say God is outside of time. You know what I mean? It's the
Hmm.
same thing. Okay. Same difference, brother. Let's comprehend. So
Yeah.
whose logic is this? Whose thinking is this?
This is
Is this
logic.
scientist
Logic is
thinking? Okay.
objective.
Okay.
Is
Okay.
there
So
is
it's
there a
we're
reason why you're
okay. We're
unable to actually like tell us which part of the argument is false?
okay, Ian. So we're gonna say it's secular logic. It's your worldview logic. There we go. We'll leave it at that. So I'll play you a little hypothetical game.
I don't grant that.
So let's play your hypothetical
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, which premise here is false?
Okay, because if God is true, if I'm supposing God is true, He can do anything and everything
That's a blunder. You don't want to
without
say that.
logic.
You don't want to say
That's
that.
not a
That's
blender.
the infinity blunder.
That's not a Avenger.
Yeah. Wait, does God have the
How's
power
that? How's
to
that?
does God have the power to make atheism true?
Okay, so this is where you. Oh, now I'm about to cook you
It's
again. This
just
is
a
where
yes or
you
no
fall.
question.
Hold on,
Does God have
hold
the power?
on,
Whoa, let's
hold
just
on,
relax there.
hold
No
on.
need to
Okay,
freak out.
in my worldview,
Does God have
it's
the
not a.
power to make atheism
Hold on,
true?
in my worldview, it's not a thing. In your worldview, I
Hmm.
guess we can say that's true.
Okay, wait, so he
See,
he doesn't have the
it's
power,
just
is
gonna
that
keep
correct?
recycling. It's
He
gonna
does have
keep
the power or he
recycling.
doesn't have the power?
Okay, now listen to me. Whose thinking is this? Is this God's
Do
thinking
you
or
want to
your
answer the
thinking?
question or are you like incapable of
I'm
that?
answering the question. I just told you the question.
Okay, is the answer yes or no?
And whose worldview? Whose logic?
Yours.
Mine's.
Yeah.
This is not a thing, so it wouldn't be possible.
Okay,
The
sure. So
thing you're
then
even
you
saying
would
is
say
not
that God
possible.
actually is
That's not a
constrained by
thing.
logic. God is constrained by possibility.
No, because this is your
Why
thinking.
is it not
This
possible?
is your thought.
Why?
Because this is your
Whoa,
thought.
whoa.
Because this is not a thing of a
Calm
God.
down. No need to freak out. Why is it not
That's called holy
possible?
anger, brother. It's called holy anger.
It's called
Learn
regular
about it.
anger.
Read your Bible, buddy. It's because I'm passionate
Do
about
you
the
want to
truth.
go
You're
ahead and
not
answer the
passionate.
question?
You're
I wish
you're
you were
not
passionate
passionate
about
about the truth,
answering
bro.
the
You're not
question.
passionate about
I'm
the.
not
You're
going to
lying
take
to people.
lessons on caring about the truth from you.
You're lying to people. That's what you're
Would you
doing,
say
buddy.
that the question is impossible because it's illogical? Or like what makes it impossible?
Because it's not God's thought.
Okay,
This
but
is
what
your
makes
thought.
it
You're coming
impossible?
up. You're coming up with this idea or thought. That's not a
Hmm.
God idea or a thought.
Is what you just
So
said God's
it's not
idea?
possible. You're cooking yourself, brother. This is your
Can
logic.
you repeat
Everything
back
you're
to me what I
saying.
just asked you, or were you not listening?
I was listening to you. You
Okay,
weren't
what did I
listening to me,
ask?
brother. Because we will be off this topic. You just
Okay,
cooked yourself.
were you not listening? Do you think like saying you cooked yourself,
Everything you're
maybe
saying is your
people
logic.
will... Oop. Oh no, this is so sad. Wait, am
Yo,
I
you got a
back?
phone call. Look, there goes God calling you. He's telling
Yeah,
you you're wrong.
sorry.
He's telling you you're wrong,
Is
bro.
my connection back?
Jesus is
Are we
calling you.
good?
He's calling you, brother.
It's more like the TikTok live studio.
He just called you, bro.
Wow,
Answer it.
this guy's like short circuiting.
He's calling you, telling you you're
Okay,
wrong.
and is that your thought or is that God's thought?
That's his thought.
Prove it.
God calls all people. He draws all men.
Brutal. Brutal.
Why you lying?
Brutal. I asked
Why
you
you
to prove
lying?
it. You said he calls all men. Prove
Why
that.
do I
I don't
lie?
grant that.
At the scriptures? Why don't you grant the scriptures? Because God hasn't
Obviously
revealed
not.
himself to you. That's the only reason
They
why
say false
you don't believe in
things.
God.
They say provably false
Exactly.
things.
So I can't prove to some.
Exactly. They say false
I
things.
can't
Yeah,
prove something
exactly.
to somebody that doesn't want to be
Brilliant.
proven. You
Wait,
don't want to be
do you
proven,
agree
bro.
or
You
disagree?
just
If
want to
the
live in.
scriptures
You
say
want to, bro.
false things, should I believe them?
There's nothing false about the Bible, bro.
Okay, well, let's talk about that.
You
It
don't even.
says
But
that pi is a value of 3. Hold on,
You
hold on,
keep
hold on,
you
hold
keep
on, hold
running
on,
to
hold on,
hold
hold
on,
on.
hold on.
Holy shit, he's like
Ian, you
terrified.
keep running to
He's
these issues.
so scared of his
Ian,
own Bible. It's like actually pathetic.
Ian, you keep running into these issues
Is there
because
a
then
reason
now
why you're
you're
scared of the
supposing my
Bible?
Ian. This is where you keep running to issues because now you have to
I'm running into
suppose my
you.
worldview
I'm
is
running
true.
you over.
No, this is where you run into the issue because you have to suppose my worldview is true. If you're
Hmm?
critiquing
Yeah.
my worldview,
Yep.
exactly.
Correct. So if you actually
So you
looked at the
just proved the
syllogism,
Bible is true. Yeah,
if you look at
exactly.
the
The Bible is
syllogism,
true.
it
Then
says
you
if
got cooked.
Christianity is true,
You got cooked.
and
You
then
got
this
cooked.
following part, so
You
you're
got cooked.
correct that in order to disprove your
You got
worldview, we
cooked.
presuppose it and then find the contradiction within it that then
You
demonstrates
got
that it's
cooked.
false.
You got cooked.
So,
Okay, so now you're doing
you know.
what
So
I
then
was trying to
you
ask you in
agree
the
with
beginning.
me that indeed you
Hold
do.
on,
Whoa, is there a reason where
hold
you're like
on,
crashing the fuck out? Do I need to, I don't have my
hold
keys
on.
on me, but maybe I could pull up like the dancing vegetables for you. Like would the dancing vegetables help you like sit still, or is there a reason why you're like physically
Go ahead, bro.
incapable
Go
of
ahead.
actually like engaging with the
I
question
like you
or
though. I like you. I like you though. But go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead. I'll let you
Yeah.
talk.
What's the value of pi? If I said that pi has a value of 3, would that be true or false?
Pie of what? What type of pies? There's all different type of pies.
The number.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
You know the
What are you trying to
number?
prove?
You know pi the number?
Get
You
to
know
the
that
point.
one?
Come on, man. Yeah, bro. Get
You
to the
heard of that
point.
one? If I said that pi has a value of
Get to the
3,
point.
would that be oh
Okay.
wait, do you
Get to
not
the
know what the value is?
dude. I don't
You
know
don't
what
need
the
to know
value
the
is. Get to
exact
the point.
value, of course, it's not possible, but you know.
All right. Get to the point, my guy. Come
How
on.
many
Let's go.
digits of pi do you know?
I don't know, bro. I'm going to talk about pie, dude.
Sounds like 0. I'm suspecting
Okay.
0.
Okay. Yo, are you gonna go, bro? Or like what? We just gonna
Let
sit
me
here?
pull up Dr. Blitz. What are you thinking?
You need
Here's
some
the other
help.
thing. I just want to
He
make
needs some
sure that
help.
I'm
I
in the
do.
clip,
Chat, he needs some
and
help.
I
He called his
directly
sidekick.
follow the part
He
where
called
he
his
doesn't know
sidekick.
that you're talking about the
He needs
pie, the
help.
number, and instead thinks you're talking about cherry pie. Please make that
True.
the
He
intro
needs
to this
help.
video. Please
True.
do
He
that.
needs help. Chat. He
It's
needs
so
help.
funny.
Dr.
Everybody
I
Blitz
tell him
literally
he needs
laughed
loses
out
help.
it.
loud. Anyway, I'm gonna leave.
Oh geez.
Yeah, leave.
Yeah.
Bye. You
Yeah.
need some help, man.
I did. Yeah. I needed that
You
hearty
can't
chuckle
cook.
from Dr. Blitz.
See,
Ha ha
you can't
ha.
cook
This
the
guest
word of
is an
God. You
idiot.
can't
Yeah,
cook the word
true.
of God, bro.
So if I said,
You could bring
whoa,
up 20
sorry,
men up here and you would
sorry,
never cook God, bro.
whoa, sorry. If I said that pi had a value of 3, would that be true or false?
Oh, why are we talking about that right now?
Because it's
Yes,
relevant to the
bro.
Bible.
Okay,
Is that
yes,
true or
bro. Yes,
false?
yes. Yes, true, whatever. Yeah. Let's go.
You're a moron.
But
You're like an idiot. You think pi has a value
okay.
of 3.
Yeah,
You're like
whatever.
brain dead.
All right, bro. Whatever,
You
bro.
actually might be like legally, like medically you might be
So,
dead.
so,
Like I
so
actually
this is
think that
what
we should check you
enlighteners
for
do
like a
when they're getting
functioning
cooked.
pulse. You think that you
When they're
just said
getting
that pi has
cooked,
a value
they
of
try
3,
to
bud.
hold on. When they
You
get
think that
cooked,
you're
they
going to
try
be
to
able to like
shotgun.
scream your
You're
way out of this?
shotgunning.
You
You
just
got
said that pi
cooked
has a
because
value
you
of
have no
3.
worldview.
Wow.
You have
Maybe
no
if you start
standards, bro.
yelling, maybe
You
if you
don't.
get really
You
loud, maybe if you start banging on your chest
no.
and
You're
saying you got
shotgunning.
cooked, you
You're
got cooked,
shotgunning.
nobody will
You got
notice that you
cooked.
got your back
You got
fully
cooked.
blown out just now, that you bit the
You
most
got
insane
cooked.
bullet for no reason. You
You got
stepped into the
cooked.
landmine and indeed it
You
blew
got
your legs
cooked.
off. You just
You
said that
got
pi has a
cooked.
value of 3.
I cooked you, bro.
Yeah, you cooked me when you said pi has a value of 3. Good one.
Bro, I sarcastically because I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know
That's what I
you're
said.
unfamiliar with pi.
Bro, I don't
Brilliant.
know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Are you gonna
You know
get
the
to the point?
digit?
So, because you already got
The
cooked.
thing that looks like the fucking squiggle and then the lines?
So when people get cooked, this is what they do. They try to revert to
You
insults.
familiar with that? You heard of that
This is
one?
what people do when they get cooked. They try to revert to
I'm
insults.
just asking you about pi.
Yeah, exactly,
Do you
brother. We know this
let
game,
me
brother.
help you out there. Maybe I can show you what the symbol is. Maybe you'll recognize it
You're
by
not
the
helping nobody.
symbol.
You can't even help you. You can't even help your own self, brother.
Okay. This might be too
You can't
small.
even help your own self. This
Damn.
is why you need God. This is why you need God, bro. You
Let
can't
me
help yourself.
find
You need help. You need help, bro. Get you some Jesus, my boy.
Okay. Have you stop me if you've seen this guy before. Do you are you familiar with this bad boy? You ever heard of that? You ever seen this one before? Never in your life?
I don't know what. No.
Why would anyone ever take advice on what to believe from you? Why would I or
But
anyone else ever want to
it's
believe the
not
same
my.
thing that you
Hey, see,
believe?
say, hey, this is the difference
Like,
between me and
I
you,
actually
bro.
think
This is the
that, you know,
difference. Hold
when I
on,
was doing
I
my
don't
math
go. I don't
degree,
leave,
some of the
bro,
logic problems, there'd be these knight and
You're
knave
smart,
problems
bro.
where the knight
That's
always
why you don't
tells
want
the
to talk to
truth
me.
and the knave always says false
That's why
statements.
you don't want to
And then
talk
you're
to me.
supposed to
That's why you don't want to
determine
talk
who
to
the
me.
knight is and
You
who the knave
scared.
is based on
You
what they're
scared.
saying, based on these logic
You scared.
puzzles. You know, I think
You
that you might be an
scared.
example of like a real world
You
knave that says nothing
scared.
but false things. You know, you are the gate
Scared.
guardian that speaks in nothing but lies.
Scared.
You've said nothing
I
but
like the
false
Ian better with
statements.
the
It's kind of
glasses. This
incredible.
one's scary. Put your glasses back on.
No,
I don't like this Ian. This
I can
Ian's a
see the
chimp.
W plenty clear.
He's a chimp. The glasses Ian, he was way better, bro. He was chill, more
If I put the
like this
glasses on, would
Ian.
you be willing to,
Put
I
the
don't know,
glasses on.
you know, not
Put
humiliate
the glasses
yourself?
on so
Or
you can see the truth.
why are you
Put the
begging me?
glasses on so you can see
I'm
the
kind of
truth.
uncomfortable by all your like
Put
begging and pleading.
the glasses on so you can see the truth.
Put the
So the
put the
truth can
fucking
be
collar
revealed to
on,
you.
Ian. You know,
No.
wear the mask,
Put the
Ian.
glasses on.
I want you to wear. I
Put
like
the
you better when
glasses
you wear
on.
the mask, Ian.
Because you can't see.
So
You can't
weird.
see the truth, bro. You're blinded.
Wow,
You're
he thinks that
blinded.
he's cooking with
You
that
know the
one. That's why he
weekend.
said
You're
it like 3 or 4
blinded
times.
by the lights.
Oh
You heard that
shit, he's
song?
like freaking
That's
out.
what you blinded,
Is
bro. You're
the? Are you
blinded.
speaking in tongues?
Open your eyes, bro. Open your eyes. You're blinded, my guy.
You're blinded from, I don't know, I guess like the
Wake
acidity
up,
of my
bro.
rhetorical cum shots
Wake
going into your
up, bro. You're
eyes.
being deceived by the devil, bro.
That's why you can't see. Must
You're
have
being
gotten into your ears
deceived. And
too.
that's why
That's
you
why you
people are
can't
laughing,
hear.
bro. You have no moral standards.
The reason why they're
You
laughing
don't appeal
is
to
because
nothing,
you
bro.
got
What
torn
do
in
you appeal
half.
to?
Oof,
What
something
do you
way
appeal
more
to, bro?
substantive than you, laws of logic. Do
What do you appeal to, bro?
you want the answer a second time?
Science? Science?
Okay, yeah, I'll give the answer a second time. Laws
That's
of
what you
logic.
appeal to, science?
I didn't say that. Laws of logic.
You don't even know what logic is without God. You can't know what logic is without
What's
God.
the argument for that?
What? Because
What?
nothing grounds nothing grounds
What's
nothing.
the argument
You
for
have
that?
nothing that grounds you.
What's the argument for
Should
that?
be hold on. Everything and anything should be illegal
Nope. That
because
doesn't
you have no
follow.
moral standard, brother.
Are we talking about logic
It
or
does
morals? You
follow,
keep on
brother.
getting your shit kicked in on
Both.
each one, and
You
then you
need
pivot to the
both.
other one. You know, it's not even like
You
a
need
Mott and a
both, brother.
Bailey because both positions fall apart instantly. Instead, it's like a Bailey, 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 and you're just like constantly, you know, retreating to the next position. So you asked me, how do I arrive at my morals? I told you laws of logic, and you said, you know, how do I ground my laws of logic? And then you pivoted back to ethics.
Yeah, Ian. I need you to go get your glasses, bro.
You
This is
gonna
not
run
gonna
the
work.
line
I love
again?
you.
You thought
I
it was
love you,
such a
bro.
cook that you need to run it twice?
I love you, bro, but this is not the Ian I know.
I know. I'm sorry.
But I
I've
ain't talked to you.
changed.
I haven't talked to you like
It's a
in 2
shame that
years. I
you've
haven't
stayed
talked
the
to
same since the age of 5.
No, man. This is crazy, Ian. You need to wake up, bro. You need to wake up.
Wow.
You sleep, bro. You really sleep.
Yeah, I know it
You're
might
supposed to
sound
lead
like
the
I'm
world.
sleeping the way that I'm like
Ian,
effortlessly tearing
Ian,
you in half. Yeah,
Ian. You're
true.
supposed to lead, but you're not leading, bro.
Lead who?
You're leading people straight. You're leading people straight to hell, bro.
I'm leading people
Get
to
your
the
stuff
truth.
together, bro. No, you're not, bro.
Yeah,
You
let's
have no truth.
all
You
get
don't know truth
advice
without
on
God.
pursuing the
Dude,
truth from the
dude,
guy that thinks
what
that
is
pi
truth?
is a value of
What
3.
is truth?
That which
What
is the
is truth?
case.
What is truth? You wouldn't know truth
That
without
which is the
God.
case. You want the answer a third time?
No, you don't know what truth is. You have no truth.
Okay, what's the argument for that?
What grounds your morals?
Logic.
Oh, okay. So all you're doing when you say logic, all you're doing is putting the creation before the creator. That's all you're
What
doing
the
when you
heck are
say
you
logic.
talking about? I don't grant
Go
that there
read
is
your
a
Bible, brother.
creator.
Go read the Bible. Why do you
Yeah,
think the Bible
I read the
tells us
Bible and it's a
hold
horrible
on,
standard for
hold on,
ethics.
hold on.
You know, the
Why
Bible
the Bible?
features
Hold on,
slavery. God says that you can
hold
own
on.
slaves. It
That's a different.
features
That's a
God
different type of
commanding.
slavery.
Oh, sure.
That's a
Wait,
different type of slavery.
is it people owned as
It's a
property?
different
Do
type of
they,
slavery. They can hold on.
whoa. Do they
After
own
they
these
do
people
their
as
work, they can
property?
go home.
Nope, that's
They can
not
go
true.
home.
That's not
Yes,
true.
that
If
is
you
true.
turn
How
to
do you know it's
Exodus
not true?
21. Yeah, let's turn to
How
Exodus
do you know that's
21.
not true? Go to Exodus
When a
21.
man
Brother.
sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. These ones are
Okay,
slaves for
hold
life.
on. I know the
Sure.
scripture. You don't got to read, bro. That's to protect the slave, so
they don't get to go
when
out.
hold on.
Wow, you know, they need to be
That's
slaves for life.
okay.
It's for
See
their
now
own
when
protection.
okay,
Fucking
yes,
genius,
it's for
dude.
protect.
Yeah.
It's protection for
Getting
the
a
slave.
an
What are you
ethics
talking
lecture
about?
from a dude who thinks
So
slavery
his
is good.
kids. Do you want to know? Do you want me to sum it up?
Do you
I
think that it's
study
good
this
that these
stuff,
are
bro.
slaves for life?
This
Do you
has
think
been
having
defeated.
slaves
This
for
is
life
just
is
low
good?
tier. This is low tier thinking.
I just want to know, do you
This
think that it's
argument
good to
has
have
been
slaves for
defeated, bro.
life?
You can't keep using this. You atheists can't
Okay.
keep
Oh
using this
gosh,
argument.
I
It's
didn't
been
realize the
defeated.
argument's been defeated and I can't keep using it. Oh gosh.
It's a trash
Yeah,
argument,
I didn't
bro.
realize that. Oh, it's such a bad argument. Wow, what a great counter argument. This argument's been
And then
rebutted.
hold on. If you
It's
want to
been
say,
refuted.
hold on. And then if you don't even want me to
Yeah,
bring
here's
up
my
the argument,
rebuttal.
then you will have.
Please
Hold on,
stop.
Ian. Ian. So say if it did say that, forget the example I was going to give you and explain to you. So then you will have to blame your people for making the Bible and owning slavery. You will have to blame your people.
My people? You mean like Irish people?
So now I'm
My
shifting the blame on your
ancestors weren't
people.
slave owners. My ancestors were
So
Irish
now we will have to
farmers that got potato
We will
famine.
have to blame all Caucasians.
I think that there's like
for writing
obviously
this.
some like racial inequities that need to be remedied. But if you trace through my lineage specifically, you're not going to find slave owners.
Hold on, Ian. We will have to blame all the Caucasians that believe in this.
Why?
Because your people supposedly
In fact,
wrote the
I don't
book
even think that you should
slavery in
be
it.
blaming like modern day people unless they themselves have owned slavery.
Okay.
I think it's a societal obligation to alleviate things.
They translate it and they follow
Also,
it. You know how many churches we have?
Wait, sorry. Do you want to answer the question?
Know how many? Hold
oh,
on.
Fuck,
do you know how
running
many?
Away.
Hold on. Do you know how many white churches we have in America?
Oh, do you want to calm down?
Do you know how many?
He's having his like little. Oh wait, let me know when you're done having your like soy meltdown. Go for it.
Slavery. Now you don't want to talk about slavery.
You still having your soy meltdown?
Now you don't want to talk about slavery because if you want to go that route, we will have to blame your people.
Just let me know when you're done.
Blame your people for still allowing this book. Yeah, exactly. You got cooked. I didn't even have to go the real way about slavery in the Bible. You got cooked. Either way, you're gonna get cooked. You're sweating right now. That's why you took a little lap because you're sweating.
Oh, you're
sweating right now.
You still soying out?
You're sweating.
Oh,
you're
my bad.
Sweating.
I think that you should lay off on the soy.
Go get
That's the sound of you choking on my rhetorical dick, by the way. Flustered again, stun locked. Brutal. What? Reset to factory settings. That's what this guy just got. The rhetorical equivalent. Somebody hit like the red reset button on the back of his head.
Do it again.
Rhetorical backshots so good that he's begging for them a second time.
Bro, you just said the Bible.
He's literally
was
calling me.
So then
3
you will
seconds
have to blame
later.
your people for allowing this book to still be here.
Why? Well, are we supposed to burn the book?
It's your people.
You
no.
want to? I don't think that we should burn books.
You should
even if
get
a
rid
book
of
expresses
Christianity
something,
because it's not the same.
I think that we should get rid of it because it's false.
It's not the same slavery. Then
I think we should get rid of it because it's false. But wait, would you agree or disagree that it says that you can own people as property?
I just told you the story, but you didn't want me to go through the story with it.
Well, I just want a yes or
no. I told you it was.
Does it say that you can own people as property? Yes or no?
Yes, because that was the time of living.
Okay, is that ethical to own people as property? What are you talking about?
But they could have They could have left afterwards.
Is it ethical?
Yes.
It's ethical to own people as property?
Hold on.
Do you think that it's fine to own people as property, slaves for life?
We still do
this. You think slavery for life is fine?
We still do this
I think slavery for life is bad.
We still do this in America.
To the extent that we do it in America, that's really bad. I don't think we should own slaves. I'm anti.
What are you talking about?
I don't think we should. I don't think we should own slaves.
What?
I think slavery is bad. Me personally.
You're not listening. You're not tracking, brother.
You said that when we capture people, we put them in slavery.
You want me to listen to you?
Maybe charitably, what you're saying is like, the prison or the Slavery Abolition Amendment carves out like an exception for prisoners. That's true, and that's horrific. That's like one of the biggest injustices that currently exists in America. Slavery is bad. I don't think we should do that.
Dude, you don't even believe in the Bible.
I agree.
You couldn't even critique. Technically, you couldn't even critique it. This is what I'm saying.
Wow, you don't believe in the Quran, therefore you can't critique the Quran.
Hold on.
Do you think that's a good argument?
Hold on, I don't.
Wait, can you critique the Quran? Do you think that you're able to critique the Quran?
You're presupposing I do that.
If the Quran says that rape is really good and that you should just rape everyone, would that be?
Where does it say that?
Could you like critique
Where does it say that? Where does it say
I'm
that?
sorry. We need to back up
Stop.
to an even easier
Stop making
question.
up stuff. Oh,
If
you're
you didn't eat
running.
breakfast this morning, how do you think you would feel?
I already know that, dude. Just
How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this
yo,
morning? How'd you
bro. You're
feel?
trying to get me with a. You're trying to get me with an if statement,
I just want to know,
dude.
how
Just
would you
stop, bro.
feel
You're not gonna cook.
if you
You're
if
not
you
gonna
didn't eat
cook me with this,
breakfast?
bro.
How'd you?
You think you? I gotta go.
Holy shit! He got cooked by
I know what
that.
you do. I know what you're doing, bro.
Surely not.
I know.
Joker laughter at a time like that. Oh, he ran. Okay, he ran the fuck away. Okay, fair enough. Can't blame him. You know, sometimes it'd be like that. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends to know the good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Oop. Oh, wait, are we? Okay, yeah. Make sure you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I also ask that you have some sort of reason, or you can also be a deist as well. Deists are also acceptable. It'd be cool if you had a reason to think that God exists. An honest doubter, thanks so much for the super chat. If all description is not what it describes, isn't conception inherently limited? If all description is not what it describes, isn't conception inherently limited? I think limited presupposes some sort of scale. I'm not sure if limited is the right word. So I have like a, I have like a concept of my girlfriend. I have a concept of her, but my concept of her, like, she's not literally in my head. She's in New York. She's, hundreds of miles away. And I agree, right? Like, my conception of my girlfriend is like a representation of her. But I'm not sure in what sense we'd say that if all you mean by limited is that it's like not identical to the thing that it's conceptualizing, I agree with that. I'm just not sure. I think that the correspondence happens when it shares perhaps the same structural features or maybe like the same like big picture. I don't know. This is something that I've like vaguely glanced by. Is I am curious. I'm sure there's like lots of philosophy written on like abstraction and conceptualization. I'd be very, very curious as to what makes a conceptualization worthy of being deemed like mapping onto reality. How good a conception of my girlfriend do I have to have in order for that conception to be in line with reality? I don't know. It's an interesting question. Bacon and Bush, thanks so much for the super chat. I appreciate the gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for the cool Corey membership. Thanks. Amir, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate that. Big W, Amir. Amir, thanks so much for the super chat. Ian, you're being so kind to read it out for him. Yeah, typically when somebody starts speaking in such a way that it's like obvious that they're not even like reading the notepad, I just assume that they're illiterate and I try to lend them a helping hand. Sorry, I got some God trapped in my lungs. Skeptics and Scoundrels, thanks so much for the super chat. Don't think, just talk, Mark 13:11. Is that true? When they bring you to trial and hand you over, do not worry beforehand about what you're going to say, but say whatever is given to you at that time, for it is not you who speak, but the Holy Spirit. Dude, The Holy Spirit sucks at debate. Holy. You'd think that it would be a bit better. Can you imagine like the Holy Spirit clearing his throat for the like 1000th time today? It's all faith. You know, there's no evidence. Intellectual powerhouse. Eat some shorts. Thanks so much for the super chat. W Molly memes. Yeah, Molly is fantastic. Let's get a big W for Molly. Molly doesn't get enough W's. Gosh. Leo Bloom, thanks so much for the super chat. It's not true that the 13th Amendment makes an exception for slavery in the case of punishment for a crime. Prisoners are not slaves. They aren't owned as property. The exception is for forced labor. Oh, okay. I mean, that might be true. I don't know. But I mean, even forced labor. Maybe if you're in prison, it should totally be an option that you can kind of just do nothing. Maybe that's fine, that you just have all your needs provided for and you just don't do anything. I think that it would probably be pretty unjust to do like forced labor, even though like there's like a net loss there in terms of like, economics. I think that it's like, that sounds like very inhumane to me. That strikes me as like an obvious injustice. Nobody challenge your YouTube. Thanks so much for the super chat. Christians are so funny. It's always, he had to enslave him for the debt he owed instead of just being like roommates that pay off a debt. True. They could do, is that the plot of like Two Broke Girls? I don't know. They could just be friends. All right. I wonder if I eat like a cough drop, I wonder if it's going to be like the auditory experience for you. Like all of you are going to have the auditory experience of being like the little green army guy put into somebody's mouth. Okay. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe that the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You can also be a deist. And with that, we will go to the very next guest. I did not just chew it. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Yep, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Yep. What religion?
I'm a Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm the full fulfillment of Judaism.
Sure. What makes you think that God
Yeah.
exists?
Well, there's a point of life, right? Like do you think there's a point to like live and stuff?
I think atheism is compatible with a lot of answers on that. I'm probably...
That's not what I said. I don't know why you're bringing up atheism. I said,
because
is there a point of life?
Because I'm defending atheism here. The topic is whether or not God exists.
But is there a point of life?
I think atheism is compatible with a lot of answers on that. Sure, let's take a maximalist answer and say yes. Let's say yes, there is a point to life.
All right, then that's what God is. And also you're
not
sucking
granted.
the candy too hard. What do you mean?
I don't grant that God is the point of life. Prove that.
What do you mean? What's the point of life then for you?
Yeah, eudaimonia, achieving human flourishing via, living a life that can be rationally approved of, which is going to require living that life virtuously. That's the point of human life, by living virtuously.
How will we do that? Who started it?
Who started it?
Yeah.
So
what
constitutes human flourishing
the
is...
oceans, the mountains.
Okay, you're not asking about human flourishing.
My bad.
You're pivoting away from purpose.
No, and human. Let's go all over.
Okay, yeah. Let's,
because my
let's
God
shove
created
that
all
one
of it.
under the rug.
My God created all of it. So
Prove
that's
it.
why I'm saying let's bring up more than human.
What's the argument for that?
I just told you. The point of
You
life.
told me the lore.
The point of living is God.
Not granted.
How so?
What's the argument for it?
That we have God. That's why we're living.
Not
That's the point of
granted.
life.
What's the argument for that?
So that's why I asked you, what's the point of life?
And
then you
I
just
told
said it's
you.
fulfillment for humans.
Not quite. It's human flourishing,
What else?
which is constituted by living virtuously.
No.
Hadn't considered. Why would God want to create humans?
Why do you laugh?
Because you said no.
Like, what's the
in
end goal of
rebuttal.
your laugh there?
You said something very silly. I couldn't help myself.
I didn't say anything.
You said, nah. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's all it takes for you to laugh.
Yeah, it was a funny response. Listen, I
Wow.
can stop laughing if
Okay.
that was offensive to you.
No, I'm just wondering what your end goal was with the laugh, and you're saying
I
'cause
couldn't help
just said,
myself.
"Nah," that's funny.
It wasn't like a
that's- okay,
goal-based
sounds good.
action, you know. Couldn't help myself. Burst out in laughing.
No, you can laugh. I'm just saying, what's your end goal?
Are you
Because I'm
sure?
saying,
Because you seem pretty
yeah,
offended.
absolutely. No,
Okay, I'll
I
try to
want
keep
you
my
to
laughter
laugh.
to the
I feel
minimum.
like that's the first time you have laughed today.
I think I've laughed plenty, especially at the previous guest, but you know,
So you only laugh at
that's
guests.
neither here nor there.
You
No,
don't
I
laugh
mean I
in
was
your
laughing with
personal
my
life?
coworkers
Like when you get
as
off,
well.
when you disconnect from the
Wow,
internet,
you
don't
like
laugh?
pancakes? I guess you hate waffles.
No, when
What
you
kind
get
of
when you
reasoning is
disconnect,
this? Yeah, of course I
when you
laugh
stop
at other
grifting,
times.
do you laugh
Not,
when you
I
stop
don't
grifting?
grant that I'm grifting.
You are grifting.
What's the argument for that? Do you think I
You
don't
go on
believe what
here.
I say?
You go on here every day, and you have a bad end goal with humans.
What do you think grifting means?
Grifting means is you profiting off and larping off different topics. So, for example, like
So, like going to my workplace.
you don't have a good end goal with your
Going to my
conversations.
workplace is
If you did
grifting
have a
because
good
I
end
make
goal,
money off of
you
it.
will talk to apologetics. You will talk to God logic. You will talk to
They're all welcome here.
Muslim scholars. Well, no, they don't come to you for a reason. They're all over TikTok.
Because they're scared, or
They don't. They're not.
then why don't they come here?
They talk to everyone on TikTok but you, and it's for a reason.
Why?
Because you're not
What do you think the
genuine.
reason is?
You're not good faith. You're not
Dude,
genuine.
that's the cope of the
you're
century,
a
frankly.
you're a larper and you're a grifter.
Wow, that's some compelling
Which
stuff.
I respect the
You
hustle.
know,
to be
you're
honest,
a
I don't
larper
know how
and a
these-
grifter. He says on the verge of tears,
Absolutely.
sprinting away from the argument. How about we just talk about God's existence?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can.
Do you think God has the power to do evil?
You're the one going back and forth with me. You have the power to drop me. You're the one going back
Do
and
you
forth with me
think
for a
God has
reason,
the
right?
power to do evil? It's yes or no.
Yeah, God can do whatever he wants.
Okay. So you think it's possible for the all good being to do evil?
Yes.
Okay. And would God be all good if he did evil?
No.
Okay. So is God necessarily all good?
No.
Okay. Sure. Then he's not necessarily perfect.
No, he is perfect.
Is he necessarily perfect?
Yeah.
Okay. Is he necessarily morally perfect?
Yes.
Would he be morally perfect if he did evil?
Yep. He's the final say. He's the one who wears the pants.
You do think that it's good to do evil?
Yeah, in certain cases, yeah.
Okay, I'm
What's
sorry.
wrong?
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
No,
You're
you
right.
don't have.
You're right.
See, this is what I mean by you're
You're
not
right.
genuine.
You're right. You're right. You're right. No laughter.
You don't do evil.
No
You don't do
laughter.
evil things
You
in
didn't
your
say a
life?
silly thing.
Do you
No,
do
it's okay.
evil things?
That's okay.
Do
You
you
didn't say a
sin?
silly
Do you
thing.
sin? Do you sin?
I don't believe in sin.
Do you do
I
bad
do
things?
actions that
Have
you would
What's the
describe
worst
as
thing you have
sin.
done in your life?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Why? Tell your viewers so they can
I'm
know
not
what
going
type
to.
of person you
It's
are.
personal.
Why?
It involves a
So
lot
it's
of
really
personal
bad
people.
then. Is that personal and bad? Is it criminal?
I don't think that it's like, it's definitely not like irredeemably bad. But no,
Does that
it
have to do
involves
with
too
women?
much with my personal life.
Does that have to do with women?
No,
Oh. Children?
no.
So why can't you say it?
Involves my personal life. I'm not gonna.
Because you act like you're
why
almighty.
are you like
act
desperate
like-
to gain like
No, because you
personal
act like you're
information?
almighty and stuff, but little do you know, people like you
What's
are
the worst thing you ever
evilest.
did?
People like you have sinned the most.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
Almost convert to Islam in 2021.
Oh wow,
That's the worst thing.
that's the worst
Yeah.
thing you ever did. Well, I guess the worst thing
Yeah.
I've ever done is be Christian as a kid.
No, that was born onto you. And you were probably a Protestant. You weren't a Catholic. So I don't blame you. I don't blame you that you got angsty probably. You probably got like a little like
Would you be willing to defend
you probably got
Catholic
angsty
doctrine?
So you probably
Do you think
went away
between
from
the
your
two of us,
religion.
you think that I'm the one that
Were you
sounds
Protestant?
angsty?
Yes, sir. Were you Protestant?
Yeah, I was Protestant, which is good because it's like
Exactly.
way more coherent than
That's
Catholic
not good.
metaphysics. You know,
No,
Catholic
it's because-
metaphysics
no.
are like straight
The fact that-
contradictions.
The fact that you went to a church that was fun for you, that wasn't anything like the original church, and the fact that you still got angsty about it, the fact that you still have a hard on for hating on it, You had a bad experience with it. It's
What's
sad.
could you tell me
Another
three
child
Latin
in your
words?
city had a great
Wait,
experience.
sorry. Could you tell me 3 Latin words?
I don't know Latin.
Yeah, you're a LARPer, you know. You
No, I'm
for
not.
sure don't
You don't need to
attend
be. You
church
don't
in the
need to learn.
original method, you know. You don't attend Latin
Nope,
mass.
that's not what it's
Pipe
about.
down.
Nope, your ignorance is showing. I don't need to learn Latin. That's
So,
like all these American
wait,
Muslims
are
who
you
don't know Arabic.
familiar? Are
They
you
can't read the
familiar?
English Quran.
Are
Can
you?
American Muslims
Whoa,
read the English Quran?
whoa,
Yes or no?
whoa. When you
What's
ask
this
can,
whoa,
is it like
dude?
physically possible?
What's this whoa,
Yeah,
dude?
obviously. It's obviously physically possible for them to do
What
that.
do you mean? There's only one transcript.
Only one
So
transcript.
that means they're
I think it's
LARPing?
actually
That means they're
contested.
grifting?
I mean, I think all of it is false.
Are they LARPing?
I think all of it's false.
I
I wouldn't
didn't
say that
ask
they're
you that.
grifting.
I didn't ask you that.
No, I don't think that they're LARPing and that they
Filler
don't believe
busting.
it.
That's why all these people avoid you. That's why I talk to God Logic. I'm like, talk
They
to this
avoid me
guy,
because I'd
I
crush
think he has
them
hope. I think
in the way that I'm
I
crushing
think he grew
you.
up a Christian. I think he has hope. He's like, dog.
Can
No
I
one wants to talk to him.
can I ask you
He's
a
bad
question
faith.
about Catholicism?
Yeah, I know you're curious. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you affirm divine simplicity?
You said what?
Do you affirm divine simplicity?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that God's act of creation is necessary or contingent?
Necessary.
Okay, so then you just think that the entire timeline is necessary and that everything is necessary.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So there's no free will.
No.
Okay, could I do otherwise than what I'm going to do?
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't.
Okay, so my action is necessary, but it's possible that I don't do it.
No, it's possible. No, you're gonna do it.
Okay, so it's not possible that I don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't have the ability to not do my action.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no free will.
There is free will. No, there isn't free will. No.
There isn't?
No.
Okay, do you think it's just to torture
Look,
people forever
No,
when
it's
they don't
not
have free
torturing
will?
people. It's not torturing
Does
people.
Catholicism
do you go on
affirm
live? Do you
eternal
go on
conscious
live every
torment?
day? Do you go on live every day?
I think you're a bit confused about your own doctrine, so let me help you
No.
out
Do you
there.
go on live every day?
Catholicism affirms as a matter of
Do you go
dogma
on live
eternal
every day?
conscious torment.
With your own free
that
will,
people,
you
when
get
they
up
go
in the
to hell,
mornings.
they get tortured forever.
I hope you eat
Do you
something
think that
healthy,
that's just?
and then you get on TikTok every day.
Do you think that that's just?
You don't have free will.
Do you want me to eat
You
something
choose
healthy
every
the way
day to
that
have a
you're getting like
pattern.
human centipeded? Like, stunned.
I was waiting for the chat to see if they were laughing, but not even a fake laugh.
They are. Look at that.
No, not even a fake laugh. Do you know the chat is hateful?
Brutal.
All I'm seeing on the chat is hate, just like you. You guys are all hateful parasites, just hating and hating. I haven't met a happy atheist ever.
Is there a reason why you're like
the
crying?
happiness and I'm not crying.
You are. You've been crying this entire
No,
time.
I'm not. I'm actually feel sorry for how you grew up now. Because if you think this is crying, I feel bad about maybe your father or the people around you, your siblings, because this
Why?
is not crying.
I
Because
love
you think
my
this is
parents.
crying.
You
That's
are.
sad.
You're like whiny. You know, there's no crying in
not whiny.
baseball.
I'm not whining.
You
That's why
absolutely
you're going
are
back.
whining.
That's why I'm still here. You're still platforming here because you're grifting. This is like entertaining your atheist viewers.
Okay.
Or
so
C, I'm
do you wanna-
hitting a spot.
do
You're
you
being
wanna
defensive
read
for a reason,
the
right? If I'm just lying and full of
Catholic
shit, I'm just
Catechism?
lying and full of shit.
Would you be
But the
interested in
fact
reading the
that
Catholic
you have
Catechism
responded
with
to
me?
every little single thing I have said,
Do you?
You're
whoa,
defensive for a
whoa,
reason, bro.
Whoa. Not the psychoanalysis. That's not going to help you. How about we get back to the substance and we read the
not the daily
Catholic
dose of internet
Catechism?
voice. Not the daily dose of internet
Okay.
voice.
So this is
It's really easy to do that,
this is
bro.
the Catholic Catechism. Let's read your own doctrine.
How long
so
did it
you
take you to
affirm
look
that
that
there's
up?
no free will.
How long did it take you to
so
look that
freedom
up?
is the power rooted in reason and will to act or not act, to do this or that, and so to perform deliberate actions
I hope
on
someone
one's
wakes up
own
today. Keep reading it,
responsibility.
please.
By free will, one shapes one's own life. Okay, so you deny the Catholic Catechism. Correct? I don't know if you know this, but you're muted. I didn't mute you, but you got to unmute your microphone. That's okay. I'd probably mute too if I was having like a little meltdown. No, it's okay. You can take your time, take a deep breath. It's really going to be okay. There's no need to get upset.
No, I was just getting ready. Do you hear an echo? I'm walking down the condo stairs. I'm
That's
going for a
fine.
run right now in a bit. That's fine.
That's
I'm
fine.
listening to you though.
Yeah. So you reject the
Yeah.
Catholic Catechism, is that correct?
No, I don't. I
Okay.
only reject maybe Vatican II.
Does the Catholic Catechism affirm free will?
Oh, so wait, was I wrong?
Does the Catholic Catechism affirm free will?
Was I wrong then? Wait, hold on. Was I wrong then?
You were wrong when you said no free will under Catholicism.
Okay, then I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm wrong then.
Cool.
Are you used to people having that on your platform? I'm wrong.
I am used to people being wrong.
But thank you for showing that to your viewers. And I hope some of your viewers turn Catholic.
Well, but let's go back to the original question.
Or start learning about Catholicism.
Do you think that God's act of creation then is necessary or contingent?
I'm not sure now because I got it wrong.
Well, it can't be either of them. If it's contingent, well, then God's existence would be contingent under divine simplicity. But if it's necessary, then everything's necessary. And there's no free will.
Whatever the Catholic teaches, which I'm going to learn now, I'm writing it down because
It's a contradiction.
The fact that I'm a soldier of God and I got that wrong, I'm writing it down so I can prepare myself better.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sounds good, bud. While you're doing that, you should pick up a copy of you should pick up a copy of The End of the Timeless God by Ryan Mullins, so you can start building yourself a more robust. No, he's a Christian.
What type of Christian? He's not a Catholic.
He's a Protestant.
Okay,
you can start building yourself a real
I don't do the Protestant
metaphysics
stuff. I don't do the,
that isn't
I
like
don't do the
instantly
mega
contradictory.
churches. No, I don't do the Israel. I don't do the mega churches. I don't do
think
the
he does
evangelist. No, he does. You're saying he's a Protestant. Come on, man.
I don't think that he
Zionist,
does the megachurch
He's probably
stuff.
a Zionist.
I
Someone
doubt
fact
that.
check that.
I'd be quite
Someone fact check it
surprised
on the
if he
spot.
was a Zionist.
All right, let's fact check it on the spot.
We can look it up. Although he's like an academic, so I doubt this information is going to be public.
All right, then. Let's see. It should be public.
Ryan Mullins a Zionist?
Uh-oh.
I can't find anything.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, sorry, bud.
No, it's okay. Well, I mean, I got my answer. It's a yes. You don't have to apologize to me.
Yeah.
There's some of your viewers though who, when they listen to you talk, that's the truth. They think you're God, to be honest. So when you start saying, "Well, I don't find anything online," these people start believing you, to be honest. So I know what that is. I know he's a Zionist. I know that he's probably a low-key atheist. The fact that he's a Protestant.
No.
And the fact that you're spreading this book.
I think that he's done more for
your viewers,
Christianity
who knows
in
the
1
end goal
year
with you,
than
bro.
you'll do in your entire life.
Hold on, let me take the gifts real quick. I'm kind of learning from you. Congo, Kyle, and Derek and Electric, even though we're in a bad economy, thank you for the gifts and the money you're giving me. Thank you. But keep it. Please don't waste your money on this app, please. Everyone keep their money to themselves.
He's right. The app that you should be giving money through is Venmo. Andrew Coates, thank you so much for the $30 on Venmo. This guest is absolutely correct about that. Don't send money through TikTok. TikTok takes 50% of it.
Or Venmo,
if you want to send money,
PayPal.
You should send money through Venmo because then I get 100%
keep it in your wallet,
of it.
guys.
So let's get a big W for Andrew Coates. I really appreciate that. Big W for the $30.
If you're going
Andrew
to
Coates.
donate, say
Thank
it out
you
loud
so,
next
so
time.
much.
Say out loud, I'm going to take my hard-earned money and I'm going to give it to someone who is hateful.
Why? Would you
Say
hear
it
it
out loud
if they
before you
said
do
it
these
out loud? Would you hear it? Would you know?
No, but
do
they will
you
have
know
some,
that he didn't say
they will
it
have
out
some
loud?
self-awareness, though. No, they'll have some awareness, though. Or maybe they might cringe. Maybe they'll start waking up and be like, holy shit, wait.
Listen,
let me actually
I
remove my card
guarantee that
details
they're
from this.
cringing at this conversation.
Wait, I was giving this guy $300 a month when I could just watch him for free?
They could.
And
but they
is the economy good or bad? Is the economy good or bad?
Depends for who. Typically, it's bad.
Well, you're probably rich. You're probably middle class, rich, right?
I'm middle class. I don't know if you'd say middle class is
You're
rich.
probably high. You're probably higher than that. You probably travel a lot. Your
don't.
girlfriend's in New York.
I'm actually.
You probably travel to New York often.
You don't know how far away I am from New York.
You said miles and miles away earlier. You said you have a concept of her.
I live in
I was listening.
I live in Baltimore.
I was actually trying to learn
it's
something.
not that
but then
far
I saw
of a
pattern.
drive to New York. It's only a couple of hours.
So you drive? You waste gas?
Yeah, I do drive.
Damn.
I'm a
you
driver.
Rich, bro. Hey.
Yeah.
Chat.
Me when I drive to New York.
Do you think the chat for that?
Every like 2 months or so.
You
a big
think the
gas
chat every
waster.
2 months?
I think all of my super chats, as soon as I read them, you would have heard that earlier.
No, I didn't.
I bet there's a lot of things that you haven't heard. I bet the no I didn't is a common reoccurring theme for you?
No, it's not.
Compelling.
Indeed. Indeed.
We could do we could do more Catholic doctrine stuff. Do you think that you are literally eating the body and blood of Christ?
No.
Oh, well, that's heresy.
I am, but that's not flesh.
Okay, so you are eating the literal body and blood of Christ.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every
Okay.
Sunday.
You
Or
eat
Saturday if you're
human.
doing the whatever that's called.
You do eat
The Virgil.
the body of a human.
No, it's bread. Have you gone to a Catholic church?
So it's not
Hold on,
the body
have
of
you
a
gone to a
human.
have you
Okay,
gone to a
cool.
Catholic
That's
church?
heresy.
Hold on. I have
I don't know if
answered
you're
your
aware of
question.
this,
Give me one.
but
Just give me
saying
one.
that
Just give me
it's
one question.
not literal.
Just give me one question.
Yeah, go for
Just give
it.
me one. Okay, have you gone to a Catholic church? Because
No, I haven't
you're
gone to a
very
Catholic church.
curious. Oh, you're very curious. Why haven't you? You don't need to be a Catholic.
Because, I became an atheist.
Why not
when I
have the
was,
real
like,
life experience?
13 or 14. And then I just haven't been back to a church since.
So when you started
Also,
rebelling, and
Protestantism
probably
is like way more plausible.
are
metaphysically
13-year-olds
speaking.
are 13-year-olds angsty
Yeah, they
and
can
rebellious?
be angsty. They can be rebellious, yeah.
But you weren't when you went
I don't
against the
think
church.
that me becoming not religious was an act of rebellion. No. I don't think that
but-
everything a 13-year-old does is rebellious. I think that I changed my mind because I was presented with
going after
logical
your tradition,
arguments.
going after your faith that's probably the biggest thing you can do. Was
Do you
your
think that
mom
it's
and dad proud
rebellious
of that?
to change
Was
your
your mom
mind?
when you're going against your faith, absolutely, and the truth, absolutely.
Oh,
What
I
were
don't
your
grant that it
reasons?
is the truth.
What were your reasons at 13 on why you went against the faith?
Damn, I bet this one would actually cook you.
Hey,
Do you
clip
think
this one on YouTube. We're getting the life
God
story of Ian today.
has the
Why
power to
did
make a
you go
rock?
against the church at 13?
Yeah, I'm trying to help you out there. I'll ask you the question my friend asked me.
No, don't answer it with a question.
That's because my friend
Let's
asked
talk
me
about your
whether or
personal
not
experience.
God has the power to make a rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it. So what do you think? Do you think God has the power to make a rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it?
God can do whatever he wants.
Okay, yeah, that's why I stopped believing, right?
So
I think
why
contradictions are
why?
false. Your
'Cause he
worldview is
can't pick up a rock?
contradictory. You're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not. You were
God
probably
has
watching
the
Superman
power
at
to
this
make a
time.
rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it, and then God has the power to lift the rock that he doesn't have the power to lift. He has the power to lift a rock that he doesn't have the power to lift. It's a contradiction, You're contradicting yourself.
No, he can't lift anything.
Yeah, exactly, right. You're contradicting yourself.
No, I'm not.
God has the power to lift the rock that he doesn't have the power to lift. Is a contradiction.
No. He can lift anything.
Yes, that's the contradiction.
No, you're giving yourself a contradiction.
Yeah.
No, my answer to you is
having
he
the
can lift
power
anything
to
he
lift a
wants.
rock that you don't have the power to lift is a contradiction.
Okay, so can you answer my question now?
Go for it.
So after that rock analogy, that's how you lived your life on.
It's not an analogy.
No
it's
religion.
an argument.
No religion.
Oop. Hello? If you're off the app, I can't hear you. You got to be on the app. Ryan, thanks so much for the $20 Venmo. I'm giving you my hard-earned money or whatever the fuck that dude said to say. I don't know. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for not cringing. I know it's like very embarrassing or something, but I appreciate that. Big W for Ryan. Thank you so much. Oh, and he ran. He dipped. He's gone. He's gonzo. It's too bad. Okay, on to the next one. Fio Gamer, thanks so much for the super chat. From your eternal creation argument, P1, God is eternal. P2, Jesus is begotten. P3, Jesus is begotten applies. Jesus is not eternal. Conclusion, Jesus is not eternal. P4, Jesus is God. Conclusion 2, God is and is not eternal. I find this problem to be okay. So I think that they have a solution that's like reasonable to me, which is that, well, maybe it's not reasonable because I think causation is an event, and I think that events need to exist in the timeline. Because, okay, the solution that they want to run, so the basic problem is that if Jesus is begotten then he's not eternal because he comes into existence. What they want to say is that Jesus is eternally begotten, that there's no state of affairs where he's not begotten. But that's like kind of, I don't know. I'm not super sure that that's coherent to say that something has eternally come into existence, because coming into existence is an event. Presumably, it would be like a one-time thing. So I don't know. It's not clear. Maybe the eternal emanation view makes more sense, but Vio Games, thanks so much for the Magnificent Mary. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime, where of the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Sure, okay, so I didn't realize that it's talking about involuntary servitude is the except for punishment for a crime. I didn't realize that, but that makes sense. Aloe Emporium, thanks so much for the super chat. Would God even have a nature if a nature is an inclination? Isn't an inclination a kind of restraint? Seems to contradict omnipotence. Depends on your conception of omnipotence. I agree. If God can do anything that's like logically possible, then yeah, God can't have a nature. That's correct. You know, he can't be eternal because he can make himself stop existing. He can't be necessary because he can make himself stop existing. You know, he can't be all-knowing because then he can learn something. So the definition of all-powerful can't be the ability to do anything that's possible to do, any like possible action. But they want to restrict it to say like he can do anything in his nature, but then my water bottle is all-powerful. My desk is all-powerful. Giovanni, thanks so much for the super chat. It's not my wallet. True. Snowcat, thanks so much for the super chat. Ian has this habit of literally incinerating guests with trivial thought experiments. True. I try my best. Gray Tarif, thanks so much for super chat. Hey Ian, what's your thoughts on absolute monism? Is that existence monism? There's only one fundamental reality, being our substance, and that all apparent plurality. Oh, this is like existence monism. Not plausible. This view strikes me as like obviously false. The idea that there's only one thing and that all these distinctions are illusory. I don't know. I think it's true that I'm not you. But if absolute monism is correct, then it's not true that I'm not you. I think that there are like these Morian propositions, basically propositions that are like obviously true. Like absolute monism is like a vicious thing to accept if you want to maintain like common sense beliefs. If you want to maintain like the value of your intuitions for knowing like things at all. But I mean, that view is defended by people like, for example, Parmenides, and nowadays De La Rocca defends that view in the Parmenidean Ascent, that existence monism is true and that all these distinctions are illusory. It's a bold view, and I know these people probably, I know that they hate the usage and reliance of intuitions in philosophy, that if you use pure reason, you do end up at like some Parmenidean conclusion that there is only one thing and there aren't distinctions. Aranos Fail, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub on Twitch. Appreciate that. Chara Reynolds, thanks so much for the $10 on YouTube. I'm going to give my hard-earned money to someone who is hateful. That is to say, the caller. This money is dedicated to you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Holy Gore, thanks so much for the super chat. This is for the crying guest. True. Fact Junior Roll, thanks so much for the super chat. The economy is rough. Here's some donations. Appreciate you. Thanks. The Rabbit Squirrel Sage, thanks so much for the super chat. For fuck's sakes, Ian, get an EV so you aren't hateful. That's true. I don't know. I'd consider it. I don't know how long I'm going to have this like commuting job. You know, eventually I want to go to grad school. And then at that point, like, I mean, eventually I'd have a commute again, because like the long-term goal is that I'd love to stream and then be like a philosophy professor. That would be the ideal. And in that circumstance, I'd need to commute. Maybe if I went to grad school, I would need to commute too. But I already have a car. I feel like it would be way worse to buy like an EV. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Next to at night. Thanks so much, Super Chat, for the crying guest fund. A lot of tears streaming down his face. Amir, thanks so much, Super Chat. I didn't work hard for this money at all. Just played the market on Standard Nuclear Inc. STDN and got lucky. I appreciate that, Amir. You know, you are the middle class person that last guest hates. I'm kidding. But I appreciate that. Thank you. Randy O. Calrissian, thanks so much for the 100 bits on Twitch. Thanks. HTZ, thanks so much for the super chat. YouTube won't let me send my joke about hard money. So here it is anyway. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I don't know. It's nice. John, thank you so much for the $50 on Venmo. This is for the agency argument. Thanks. John, I'm glad you enjoy it. You know, I can't take credit for it. This argument comes from Alan Gaworth. I think that there are a lot of really compelling arguments in that vein that stretch from Kant through people like Rawls, through people like, you know, Nora O'Neill, or I think it's Onora O'Neill. Is it Nora O'Neill or Onora O'Neill? It's fuck. It is Onora O'Neill. Okay. I guess, man. Onora O'Neill. Baroness? What the dude, this can't keep happening. Why do you pull up? Why is it the case that when I pull up like the Wikipedia page for an ethical philosopher, it's always like, you know, they're like assortment of titles. Is ethics a rich person game? Apparently, she was the... That can't be true. Apparently, she's the daughter of Sir Con. His name is Con. They elected a dude whose name is Con. Sir Con Douglas Walter O'Neill. The British ambassador to Finland. Previously. Okay. But, you know, shout out to Philippa Foot, because Philippa Foot, her, like, uncle is... What's the relation? Philippa Foot is related to... Grover Cleveland. Her grandfather is Grover Cleveland. She's a virtue ethicist. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. To a person who never thinks there were no trivial thought experiments. True. It was a dangerous expedition we went on. Molly, what were you saying? Obviously, yes. Oh, true. That ethics is a rich person game. Could be. Yeah, that seems plausible. Ian wants to be in academia. That's true. I do. Persecute me. Let's get the very next guest up out here. Wait, 2 more? Okay. I'm evil. Char Reynolds, thanks so much for the super chat. I hope you can grapple with the fact that your table is all powerful now, by the way. It's scary. It's quite frightening to have an all powerful table. Zach Dworkin, thanks so much for the super chat. I've been hearing about this Jesus and whatnot recently, and he's debating people who aren't ready to debate him. I'd love for you to smack him around. I'd love that too. I've DM'd him. I don't know if he's going to accept a reply. I want to make a video kind of critiquing like the cosmological argument that he ran against Parker. I think it was like very bad. And also, you know, This is for all the people who are interested in like actually learning philosophy and not just LARPing it. A lot of philosophers reject the PSR. It probably collapses into necessitarianism, meaning that there are no contingencies, which then just defeats the argument. Like really, arguably the greatest living metaphysician, Peter Van Inwagen, like a pioneer of mereology, the field of metaphysics that relates to like parts and like composition. You know, he's a Christian and he rejects the PSR because otherwise there is no free will. Like if everything has an explanation, if all contingencies have an explanation, then there are no contingent choices because they'll all just have an explanation. But you know, it is. I lean towards the PSR being true, but it's not like an insane position or like totally unprecedented for people to not believe it. Hey, how's it going? Hello, Tyler? If you're in that guest request box, you got to be 18 or older. You got to believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You can also be a deist.
Are you there?
Yep. How's it going? How old are you?
36.
Yep.
My second time on the show.
Okay. What religion are you?
Well, that's irrelevant because my belief is that all religions exist at once.
I agree. All religions exist at once. The question is whether or not they're true.
Right. So I'm a firm believer in the many worlds theory.
Okay. If I formed a religion,
by contingent, they all exist in truth.
Please don't do
across
this to me.
the various universes.
Please don't do this to Dr. Blitz. You can't do this.
I don't claim to be an expert, but I do like the theory. And I'm all you
Understatement.
got in the box.
Understatement of a century. Okay, let's say I formed a religion that.
That's fair.
Let's say I formed a religion that held that all the other religions were false. In all possible worlds,
Well,
in
I
all
mean,
of the
there's
many
always
worlds,
gonna
that
be
all the religions are
paradoxes,
false.
man. I mean,
It's not a paradox, it's a
like
contradiction.
take the grandfather paradox in time travel.
It's not a paradox, it's a contradiction. And in fact, if time travel leads to a contradiction, then I would just say time travel is not possible.
But we know that it is.
Proof?
Anytime you approach the speed of light, movement slows down. If someone traveled with the speed of light for X amount of years, they would be that amount of years younger.
You can't do this to Dr. Blitz. You can't keep doing it. You can't double, triple, quadruple down on our beloved Dr. Blitz. You know, I'm gonna call like a welfare check-in on him or something. So you know that there isn't actually time travel that takes place. Like you don't go back in time by
Correct.
traveling close
Not
to the speed of
currently.
light.
Yeah.
So you actually
just
couldn't
slow down and you are younger in time than you would at normal time. I'm well aware.
Yeah. So you couldn't produce something like a grandfather's paradox under current physics.
Correct.
Okay.
But I'm just saying philosophy is full of paradoxes.
Contradictions are false. Typically, when a philosopher hits a contradiction, they realize that the belief is false.
So what's the contradiction of the many worlds theory?
The contradiction with what you're saying, because what you're saying is not the many worlds interpretation. The contradiction with what you're saying is that all religions would both be true, but also not be true, because I can just hold a religion where all of the other religions are false across all of the worlds. So
Well,
they
that's
would
the
be
thing.
both true
It's
and not true.
in one instance, but not true in the infinite amount of other universes.
What if my religion is that in all the universes, all the religions are false? Is that religion true?
I mean, technically no, but is that a religion?
Sure. Or I mean, if you ask like a Christian, they would say that God is the one and only God across the universe, across all the universes.
But they don't recognize other universes.
Some of them do. For example, Timothy O'Connor defends the theistic multiverse. So does Klaus Cray.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
So, you know, they would say that it all leads back to God, that there isn't like these multiple universes.
And then another point I would talk on is
Wait, can we just
science
acknowledge We would agree that contradictions are false, right?
In theory, I mean, one side of a contradiction could be an uneducated statement, an incorrect statement. So not all contradictions are false. One could just be.
I'm sorry, Tyler. There's just no way. All right. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. I'll also debate you if you're a deist, but no gibberators. With that, we'll go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Yep. How old are you?
35.
Yep. What religion?
So I study all religions. I'm kind of have my own theology going on.
Do you believe in God?
Yeah. But I believe in two gods. One of eternal darkness and one of eternal light.
Like a Gnostic?
Gnosticism, I learned in the last couple of years. I got into that. But I believe a lot of that was mythology they came up with.
Wait till you hear about the rest of the religions.
Yeah, I've studied all of them I can find. And I'm talking with the Mormons now, learning more about their ideas and things. They've been pretty open with me.
Okay, what's your reason for thinking that God exists? Do you have any evidence or like an argument?
Well, it's just kind of like from personal experiences, visionary states, dreams.
Do you think that dreams are like a reliable indicator of reality? Like typically when I experience something in a dream, I think we have really good reason to not trust the things that we see in dreams.
I'm not sure. I believe like this is very similar to like a dream state that we live in. All that's like all the electrical signals in our brain is like how we interpret things. Quantum science is saying that this is kind of like a holographic reality.
Not
that
two
it's
in a row.
Whatever.
There are two gods and both of them are evil,
consciousness.
and they just want to torture Dr. Blitz. There are three gods and they're beating Dr. Blitz's ass. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. You waited for a while. I'm evil. Please only request to join if you believe in like standard conceptions. You can be a deist. I'm fine if you're a deist. No,
Can you hear me?
Oop, hello? You're not loaded in yet. Somehow you both are and aren't.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up, Ian? How's it going, man?
Doing well. I don't know why it doesn't show you as being in. Is the audio coming through everywhere all right?
I'm in. Yeah, I'm back now. I was teacupping. For some reason, when I accept a guest request, if I have YouTube on in the background, but I've switched over to TikTok, it kicks YouTube back on. So I got to minimize and then turn YouTube off. I don't know why it's been doing that lately. So I'm back now.
That's fine. Yeah. What religion are you and how old are you?
I'm a Christian.
Hmm?
I'm 42.
Yep. What makes you think God exists?
Well, I became a Christian in my early 30s. I was an atheist for a long time, and I didn't have the faith anymore to sustain the secular humanist religion. It was just too many things, too many like, you know, a dot exploded, 14 million. I believed all of it. I drank the Kool-Aid. I believed the Big Bang. I believed that we came from monkeys and we're related to grass and tulips and pine trees and ladybugs. And I couldn't do it. It was too much magic. And I finally like looked at Christianity objectively.
Yeah.
I always hated Christ for some reason.
Definitely, for
I
sure.
could look into
So relatable.
Hinduism.
I'm right there
I could
with
look into
you.
Islam, and I could feel cool about it.
Hmm?
Yeah, but then,
you just couldn't.
right, exactly.
You couldn't
So then
tolerate
when
the
I looked into
magic. Wait, sorry. I just want to get this clear to make sure I'm tracking. You couldn't tolerate the magic of saying like the universe evolved according to laws of physics. So instead, you know, you embraced like the far more serious position that, you know, God sacrificed himself to himself to relieve the curse that was set by himself after the woman who was made from the rib was coerced by the talking snake to eat from the magic tree?
Yeah.
You think that that's like the more plausible hypothesis?
Right. So, I mean, you're going to have to believe in miracles. Either way, you're making a faith claim. And so, when I started to look into the historical accuracy of the scripture, when I started to look at how broken the world is, when I look around and I see Jeffrey Epstein and I see wars and all these things, the Bible has explanatory power and it's the most logical, coherent worldview compared to
Why
I
would
came from a
God-
monkey and the laws of
Wait,
physics somehow
sorry.
just arose.
Why would
as a
God
math
choose to create
equation.
Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah. We are fallen, and Jeffrey Epstein is a product of free will and sin. So
But did God choose to
did
create
not
Jeffrey
create
Epstein?
that. God allowed that.
Okay. Does God sustain existence?
I would say, hold on. Are you going to let me answer?
You just did
Are
answer.
you going to let me answer?
I just want to know,
You
does
gonna let
God
me answer?
sustain existence?
No, I didn't answer. I didn't answer.
You said that
sustained
God
I don't
didn't
know.
create it.
I don't know exactly. I didn't say, yeah, God did not create the evil that Jeffrey Epstein.
But did he create Jeffrey
partakes
Epstein
in.
himself?
God created a world that allowed, and then said, "Go be fruitful and multiply." So
The organism. Did God create the
yes,
organism?
Well, no, his parents created him.
Okay, sure.
God created the original. He's the original uncaused cause. But his free will caused him to do what he does. And in an atheistic worldview, my problem is that what Jeffrey Epstein did isn't wrong, because there's no ultimate right or wrong. There's no judgment. There's no authority. And so you have no reason to say what Jeffrey Epstein did is wrong as an atheist. And I don't believe that. I believe that he's going to go to hell and burn in hell if he doesn't repent.
Wait, quick
He's
question.
probably there now.
Do you think in order to have free will, it needs to be possible for you to do evil?
I would say probably yes.
Is God necessarily morally good? And does he have free will?
Is God? I would say, so the way I like to answer that question is that God is the standard of morality in the universe. He's the ground of good. From him come eternity, infinity, and perfection. And so God, being the standard of good, has set out a set of standards, the 10 Commandments, just to keep it simple, and said, follow these, keep these. And those that do are emulating his standard of morality. Those that go against that, he allows that for whatever mysterious reason, but he ultimately will judge that. But that's not him doing that. That's just him allowing that.
Yeah, does God have free will?
So in Calvinism, we believe. Does God have free will?
Yeah. Also, you're cutting up a bit.
In here.
You keep on cutting up.
Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, does God have free will?
Yes, I believe God has free will, yes.
Okay. Is it possible
Yeah,
for
I
the
believe
standard
God
of
has free
goodness
will,
to do evil?
The standard of goodness to do evil? I would say no.
Okay, then that's great. We have a contradiction. You've contradicted yourself. So the contradiction specifically is that it's both possible and impossible for God to do evil. So if a being has free will, then it's possible for that being to do evil. You know, that's what you said earlier. God is the standard of goodness, and God has free will. So it's possible for God to do evil because he has free will. But of course, it's not possible for the standard of goodness to do evil. So it would be, you know, it's both possible and impossible for God to do evil.
Sure.
Which premise here would you reject, or do you just accept contradictions?
Yeah, you're assuming that God can come outside of his nature and stoop to the level of evil which man has done in his free will.
Which premise do you reject?
There's no contradiction.
If there's no contradiction, then tell me which premise you reject, because the premises together necessitate the conclusion.
I reject the premise that if God has free will, it means he can do evil, because that is a...
Now you're contradicting yourself. Earlier you said that in order for a being to have free will, it needs to be possible for them to do evil. You said that earlier when I asked you.
No, It's a
You didn't say that
category
earlier?
error.
You didn't say that?
I was applying that to human beings, not God.
So were you equivocating? So
You
okay,
were
but
equivocating.
let's
You
get
were
clear then.
equivocating.
Do you think
That's what
that
you're doing.
if a
That is
being
an
has free
equivocation.
will, that it must be possible for that being to do evil?
Not necessarily.
Okay, sure.
Not
So the
necessarily.
opposite answer. So then God could have created humans that have free will, but it's not possible for them to do evil.
Not when it's a different being. With humans, we see that in the scripture. We see that the knowledge of good and evil was given as a potential possibility for humans to partake in. We don't know that God could come outside of himself as the standard of good and partake in that. So that's an equivocation fallacy on your
I
end.
just want the yes or the no. Do you think it's possible for God to have created humans who have free will, but it's not possible for them to have done evil?
Do I think it's possible for God to have created humans with free will and not possible for them to have done evil? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, could God have made humans
I
such
don't
that they
know.
have free will?
Could Adam have never sinned? Is that your question? Could Adam have never sinned?
No.
With his free
would it be
will.
possible for God to create humans that have free will, but it's not possible for them to do evil?
No, I don't think in that case, because we're talking about human beings. And well, okay.
Then he's not all
Yes, if
powerful.
God didn't put no, I got you. I know what you're saying. To be fair, if God didn't put the tree of knowledge of good and evil, then yes, it would be possible. But because we are inherently not God, outside of his standard, and sinful, and God knew it, I do believe God is all-knowing. I don't go with God is all-powerful. I believe there are things that God can't do, and he says so in his word. So God, knowing that we were sinful, put the knowledge of good and evil in front of us, knowing we would choose it in order to expose it, giving us free will, and then giving us an ability to come back to him through Christ. And if you come back to him through Christ, you understand that. And if you hadn't, you're outside and you just, it's foolishness to you. That's what the scripture says.
Could we still have had free will but not be drawn towards evil?
I mean, I don't know. That's not
Okay,
really,
well,
like,
let's explore both options. I don't know isn't going to help you here. Either it's yes or no. So let's say for the sake of argument, and then we'll backtrack if this leads to a dead end, that yes, it is possible that God could have created humans.
Well, why is it a yes or no? Why can't I say I don't know?
Because of the law of excluded middle. You'd be rejecting laws of logic.
Because you gave me a dichotomy, I have to pick yes or no?
It's a true dichotomy, so yeah. Either the answer is yes or no, because one of these things is the negation of the other.
How is it a true dichotomy, though?
Because one of these things is the negation of the other.
Yeah, but why is it the law of excluded middle if I just don't know the answer to it?
The law of excluded middle states that these are the two options. So if both of the options lead to contradictions,
I'm saying I don't know which one is true or not.
And that's not going to help you, because we can explore both options. If both options lead to contradictions, well, then we must back up an even further step and say that God doesn't exist, because then God is contradictions.
Is it possible that you don't have complete information in the scenario? That you have incomplete information?
Are you saying that I don't know what's possible or impossible?
Yes.
Oh, you don't want to do that one. Otherwise, nothing could possibly be evidence for your worldview, because we don't know what your worldview would predict.
And I could turn that right around on you and say the same thing.
I'm not a modal skeptic.
As a matter of fact, as an atheist, you don't have
he's sprinting away from that. Oh no,
for
not the morality
claims.
thing.
No, I'm just saying you don't have a base for truth claim.
What's the argument?
You don't have a base because you ultimately live in a deterministic universe where you're just chemicals. So if you're just chemicals arising properties,
sorry, what's the argument for
then
that?
How do you know if you're? How do you know?
Who said that? I think that the only thing that exists is chemicals, or that there even is this deterministic worldview. You could be an atheist and hold the libertarian free will. You could be an atheist and hold that the soul exists and that it's capable of making these free decisions. You could be an atheist and believe in supernatural things. You could be an atheist and believe in a whole variety of things. I never said I was a materialist. You're straw manning me.
Well, okay. Well, fair enough. then give me a justification for anything outside of materialism from an atheistic worldview.
Yeah, for example, you could hold that the universe is like disposed towards beauty, and you could arrive at this and like aesthetic value in general, and you can arrive at this based on the fact that this would absorb all of the good evidence for theism, and then it would also explain all of the evil and suffering in the world. So then it would triumph over theism in terms of being a hypothesis.
Right.
You know, you can't explain things like the grotesque suffering of animals played out over nature currently, or just over like billions of years. But the Kaliarchist that holds that the world is oriented towards aesthetic value is capable of explaining all of this, capable of explaining the fine tuning, is capable of explaining all of the good evidence.
But what is your justification for saying that it's skewed toward aesthetic value?
Yeah.
Who sets that value? Who determines that value?
The Kaliarchist is going to hold that these value claims, these aesthetic value claims, are going to exist platonically, that this is the foundation of reality, is the aesthetic.
So it just is what it is. So that's
it's
circular
the foundational
reasoning.
thing. You have a foundational thing too. Is it circular reasoning to say that God is the foundation? Because if that's not circular, then neither is the Kaliarchist claiming that the aesthetic is the foundation. So then you agree that you accused me of something that wasn't true.
No, I agree that I'm making a faith claim, and you are too.
I don't think that's a faith claim to say that there's a metaphysical foundation.
Well, your metaphysical foundation is that's just what it is, and you have
it doesn't
no
go
basis.
any deeper. It's a category error.
You don't have any evidence.
If it got I do have evidence for that. The fine tuning is evidence for that, as well as all the suffering in the world is evidence for that, as well as the scale of the universe is evidence for that.
But that's not evidence for your creation model. That's just evidence that things exist.
Evidence that the universe is disposed towards aesthetic value.
It's not ontological, though.
What do you think that means to say it's not ontological?
Meaning the source of being. You don't have. You don't have.
Well, first of all, you don't want to say that anything is the source of being, because then the thing that's the source of being would not have being. It would be a non-being.
No, I'm talking about.
Do you think the source of being is a being?
You're skewed toward aesthetic value. What is your ontological solution for that?
I don't know what that question is asking.
What is the ontology for the source for aesthetic? A universe that's skewed toward aesthetic value.
The foundational thing in the Kaliarchist view would just be a disposition.
It's okay. So it's just circuit. You're making a faith statement.
Can you summarize what I just said?
Yeah, that it's just a foundational thing.
That's not what I said. You weren't tracking. Like what I said just now. Why are you asking questions that you don't listen to the answer to?
You said that the Kaliarchist view is that it's just a foundational thing.
What is the foundational thing? What is it? It's a type of what? What
I'm asking you. Mine is God and a faith.
I already answered it. It seems like you didn't listen.
Okay, I might have missed it. Go ahead. What were you saying? What'd you say?
The foundational thing would be a disposition towards aesthetic value. That the worlds that are aesthetically valuable get grounded and produced. And we look around us, and the data is better explained under Kaliarchism than it is under theism. Kaliarchism is capable of explaining all of the grotesque suffering and all of the disvalue from like the moral angle, as opposed to your view, which holds that there's this all-loving God that like sits on his hands while people are raped to death.
Well, okay, so let me ask you this, Ian. Fair enough. And I'm not familiar with Kaliarchism, but I'm willing to learn. So are you saying that your worldview is Kaliarchism?
No, I'm saying that Kaliarchism is a view of atheism, that it's a good stalking horse to theism, that it absorbs all the theistic evidence. In fact, literally every Christian miracle could be true, and Kaliarchism could explain it on the basis of it having aesthetic value, and in fact, God doesn't exist. But obviously, I mean, that's several steps removed.
But you still don't have a source for it, though. Especially without a faith. You don't have a source for it without a faith claim. That we're just skewed toward asceticism. Where did that come from? That's a chicken and an egg problem.
Oh, this is Bayesian epistemology.
Where did the skew toward asceticism come from?
This is Bayesian reasoning.
Yeah, but
so
where
we
did
said
it
our
come
priors. From? Where does it come from? It's a category error. It's going to exist timelessly.
Yeah, but what? Okay, but well, first off, you got a problem there.
Why?
The
What's the
universe
argument?
is. You believe the universe has been here? Do you believe the universe has been here forever?
Hmm? Yeah, it's eternally.
Okay,
The
you have a
Kaliarchists would say
problem
that the
in
universe
physics.
is eternally emanated.
Well, you have a problem in physics. All the stars would have burned out. We know there was a creation moment.
Oh,
We
that's
know
not
it.
true. Also, by the way, earlier you rejected physics. I don't know if this is the one that you want to be doing. Earlier
No,
you
I did
said
not.
that,
I did
you know,
not
you just
reject
didn't, you
physics.
couldn't
But
believe in magic of like a dot exploding. You know, I think it's like an exact quote from you. So wait, which one?
no,
Should I trust
I'm like
physics or
John
should I not
Lennox. I
trust
believe that there's a
physics?
God. You should trust physics unless they're suspended during a miraculous event, which is rare.
Sure, I
So I believe
see.
that God sets the laws of logic, sets the parameters of physics. He, as the master programmer, would be able to manipulate the laws from time to time. That's what John Lennox, the Oxford mathematician, believes, and I stand to agree with it. But you have a problem with your Kaliarchism. I don't want to sway too far. You can't get around the cosmological argument if the universe
Oh no.
always existed, and it shows that stars
Oh, you're lagging out a bit.
at a certain time during the Big Bang. How do you based on
Oop, you're lagging. Your connection's like
the
giga
distance
bad.
of light years and stuff? How do you get around that?
Your connection's like horrible. Sorry. Do you want to try again?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, how do you get around cosmological arguments?
You're lagging out even worse somehow.
The universe. If the universe,
I feel like I'm debating like Wall-E.
Can you hear me?
No,
Can you hear me?
not really. It's pretty crackly.
Okay. Well, I might have to call back sometime, Ian.
Okay.
Hey, I'll talk to you later, Ian. Man,
Hey.
I'll call back in when I'm not here because I'm in a bad service area.
That's okay.
All right.
Thanks so much for
It's
coming
been
on. I
good, man.
appreciate you. Yep. Oh, for those of you who are looking for Kaliarchism in literature, it's an Ian original thought. It's an Ian original idea. It would be spelled Kalliarch, which derives from like and then like the ISM. But then, you know, it derives from like the Greek word for beauty, which is kalos. I think it's a really good stalking horse. It's like a really good counter hypothesis. Like if you want to run like a really wacky hypothesis, I think that holding that towards aesthetic value, I think that one explains the data like just categorically so much better than theism does. Like it explains all of the grotesque suffering for billions of years. You know, you can hold that there's like aesthetic value in things like nature documentaries. And it also explains things like, you know, the structure and life and things like that. Axiarchism is towards moral goodness. This one would just be aesthetic goodness or like aesthetic value. Yeah, it's definitely similar to it. Parisleen, thanks so much for the super chat. I'm an atheistic constructivist. God may be socially constructed, but socially constructed things can be causally real. Sub to Ian and like the live. I agree with that. You know, a lot of people do a lot of shit for, you know, like fictional characters. I look at all of our gender roles, for example. Gender roles cause people to do a lot of things. Arflu, thanks so much for the super chat. You pre-typed the contradiction before he made it. I was actually typing it along the way. Genuinely evil. P or not P? That's a false dichotomy. Yeah, that dude's the goat. I'm the big cheese. Thank you so much for the super chat. Is it possible for God to create angels that didn't have the capacity to do evil and still have free will, or whatever angels have? Do angels have free will? What's the stance on that? That's true, right? You could have had no Satan. Josiah, great to see you. The religion of secular humanism. The dot exploded. Humans came from monkeys and morals aren't real. You just can't say that Jeffrey Epstein did anything wrong if you're an atheist, apparently. I have a far more plausible ethical system for you. You know, if God said you could rape babies, it would be totally fine. But he would never do that because, in fact, there actually does turn out to be like some independent ethical standard that God follows other than what he commands. All right, let's go to the very next guest. Hey, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You can be a deist as well. That's totally fine. Yeehaw. Thank you so much, Leaky Faucet. Oh, yeah. If you want to look into Kaliarchism, you should look into the Axiarchism literature, which I think was John Leslie. And then just replace like the moral value stuff for aesthetic value. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Yep. How old are you?
Hey. 27.
Yep. What religion?
So I'm actually an atheist, but I wanted to ask you a quick question about what you were talking about, how like contradictions don't exist. Like you might have already touched on this, honestly, and I was just wondering if what your stance is on like the cat in the box question, like where the cat is in the box and there's like he could be dead or he's technically like dead and alive at the same time, or like the quantum, like double slit experiment, all that stuff. Like, what's your response to that type of
It's not a contradiction. It's not a contradiction to have two superpositions because the claim is not that they're the same superposition. They're two separate superpositions.
Okay, so like basically the concept of superposition is, or like multiple superpositions wouldn't be defined as a contradiction.
No, it's not a contradiction because it's not the same thing. Like they're not the same superposition. They're different superpositions.
Okay. Yeah, that's all. I don't want to keep too much of your time because I know you're talking to opposition.
That's fine. Yep. Thanks for coming on. Only request to join if you're 18 or older, if you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. Or if you're like a deist, that's fine too. Let's get the next one on up in here. Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Yeah, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yep. How old are you?
I'm 19.
What religion?
Muslim.
Yeah, what makes you think God exists?
Well, I do understand that this is the basic thing you want to talk about, but I'd like to talk about morality. Morality of God doesn't exist. I don't understand how morality would exist then.
Without God? So
yeah,
there's like kind of two strategies that you can take as like an atheist to explain things. You know, it's probably good to start with like a slim worldview where you start with like some like straight materialist view, and then you try to account for the things. You try to account for things like logic. You try to account for things like consciousness. You try to account for things like, you know, ethics. And if you can't account for that with like some materialistic view or something like that, then you simply start adding things to the ontology. You know, this is to say, there is like a trillion different views of morality that are compatible with atheism and are like way better than divine command theory. Like by a long shot, they're way better. You know, you could be a virtue ethicist that holds that, you know, what's ethical consists in human flourishing, which is brought about by virtue. You could hold the Kantian views that all agents are logically committed to deeming themselves and others as being valuable and that's like a requirement of logical necessity. You know, if all else fails, you could hold like some silly like Michael Humer view where you say that the moral facts are like platonic, they exist as like abstract objects, and you like intuit them. There are just so many views about how you could account for something like ethics that are just way more satisfying than divine command theory. Like, for example, in divine command theory, you know, if God says that it's okay to like murder babies, then murdering babies would be okay.
Yep, I'm mainly talking about if God doesn't exist. So these views existed for societies to function. Philosophers created them. They're more of idols. Anyways, people made them and are following them to achieve their own good. So if we just kinda go back and ignore anything that humans have made previously, we just get to the point we wanna see, where as the conscious being that we are, where we wanna go, and then we do things leading to that. So yes, we would want others in that perspective if we, for example, wanna follow the natural desires of our bodies to survive, to have more resources, to spread our genes more. I mean, this is like our body wants. We wouldn't really need to personally follow morality, but we would want everyone else to follow morality. So you could tell me to follow morality, and I will tell you to do that. But ultimately, to get more resources for myself, I shouldn't really do that. That wouldn't be the correct action to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and there's lots of ways to account for that. You know, the virtue ethicist would say that it's wrong because it's unjust. The Kantian would say that it's wrong because it violates the categorical imperative. You know, what's the, or I don't know, like the intuitionist would say that it's wrong because it's, you know, it's theft. So there are
Wait,
just like
why does
lots
that matter?
of.
Why does that matter then?
Sure. So we could go for something like the virtue
Just ignore
ethicist.
that.
Oh, because then you undermine your own goals. Because the virtue ethicist is going to say that your goal is human flourishing, and that in order to achieve this goal, you need to be virtuous. One of the virtues is justice, but you're acting unjust, so you're doing something. You're not doing something that would be required in order to achieve your ultimate goal, which you know
I guess
means
let's
that
go
you're
back and
doing
agree on
something
the
that
goal,
undermines your
because
own
you said
goal.
it's. I mean, you said that it's human flourishing.
Mhm.
What I was talking about is personal flourishing. Like for the human, he wants himself to flourish.
Mhm.
So it's kind of agree on this from a stance where nobody before made anything. You exist as a human. There is no philosophy or logic. What's your goal? Even if you, of course, got to philosophy on your own, what do you want to do? What is the thing you're trying to get to? It's only your own flourishment, not humanity's flourishment. Your flourishment is by like getting more resources, spreading
Oh,
your genes more, and of course
not
there's more
granted.
stuff. I mean, I'm not saying this. Okay, I'm asking you what's your view on that. I'm saying let's go back and agree on the human goal.
Yeah. So when you take any action at all to try to achieve a goal, when you take an intentional action, that goal fits into a broader part of your life. That you can always ask the question, well, why ought I do that? Why ought I do that? You know, you can be walking to the gym and, well, why am I walking to the gym? Well, I'm walking to the gym to go to the gym. And why am I going to the gym? Well, I'm going to the gym to work out. And why am I working out? Well, I'm working out to be healthier. And why am I being healthier? I'm being healthier because I want to live longer. So your goals, as you ask, well, why am I doing that? They stretch farther and farther and farther across a human life. So the ultimate goal must itself be a type of human life to fully encompass that, which then, you know, we can define the ultimate goal as something minimally, you know, something that you'd be able to rationally approve of, the sort of life that you'd be able to rationally approve of. But in order to rationally approve of your life, you would need to know your life. And in order to know your life, you would need to be a rational judge of lives and the actions that compose them in general. But if you're a just judge, then you're going to need the disposition to treat like cases alike. And if that's true, then you can't just go around stealing. So your ultimate goal requires that you act in just ways. Otherwise, you undermine your own goals.
Again, I'm not saying that our goals is the flourishing of other conscious beings, it's just our own. So let's go back to the why. If we keep asking why for anything, where do you think that ends?
Yeah, I think it
Where are
ends
we going?
with
Why are we
the
going to the
entirety of
gym?
your life.
Like, what is the goal for your existence? That's a question.
Yeah, human flourishing.
A
That
direct
you're
question.
trying to live a life that you can rationally approve of, which requires the virtue of justice, which requires treating like cases alike. So you need to care about other people's goals.
I mean, you would need to care for others' goals just because this is how society functions, the morality that we have created, not
That's not what I
an
said.
ultimate goal written in human nature.
Oh, but then what's the counter argument? Because I've
Do you
given you
think
the
this
argument.
is written in human nature?
Yeah.
Wait, is this in human nature? I mean,
Yes.
a human.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think I didn't get that fully clear. It's my second language, so
That's okay.
maybe I didn't fully understand.
That's totally fine.
So if you already explained that, I'm sorry, maybe explain it again in simpler terms.
So what human flourishing consists in is being able to rationally reflect on the life that you're living and approve of that. In order to rationally reflect on the life that you're living and approve of it, that requires the virtues, the classical ones: temperance, wisdom, justice, courage. So those things are going to require that you act fairly towards others.
When did I say that my goal as a human was to look at my life and rationally approve it as suitable between what, relative to what? Like it's good. My life is good relative to what?
Do you rationally approve of asking this question? Or is this an irrational question to ask?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So in virtue of taking any action, you have to deem like some sort of like rational approval of it.
Well, I'm saying that my actions or human actions come from their wants as their natures. They want different things, including
Oop, hello? You've cut out.
and then eventually it's kind of very complicated. We want things. Okay.
Oop, is there some lag?
Yeah. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're saying is to get to our goal, we need for our to see our lives as rational relative to logic.
We need to be able to
Like the
approve
normal.
of it.
I mean, approve of it as what? As a good life?
Yeah.
Yeah, but good is good relative to something.
But
like other people's lives?
That's the thing, is that in order to approve of your life, you would need to be able to judge your life. And you can't judge your life accurately if you're unjust. Evaluate and treat like cases alike.
That's the point.
You're an unreliable.
This isn't
Fuck.
really.
Oh, wait, am I back? Sorry, I like lagged out a bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's raining.
That's okay. What I'm saying is this is besides the question I was asking. I'm saying what do you compare your life to? This isn't an answer to this question.
You don't need to compare your life to
approving of your
anything.
life as good or bad.
You don't need to compare your life to anything.
If you say that something is good, if you are saying that something is good, you're comparing it to something.
I don't think that's true. Do you think when you say God is good, you're comparing it to something?
Yeah.
What?
To morality, for example, of other beings.
When
or
God
the
was the
goodness
only
of
being that
humans, for
existed,
example. humans consider.
When God was the only being that existed,
Yeah, he's not
was his
a good
goodness
relative to anything then.
okay? Sure. Was he still good?
Not relative to anything, no. He just exists.
Yeah. Well,
Not
I mean,
in our view.
you don't think he was good?
I mean, good for me is good for me. I mean, when I say that something is good, it's good for humanity, therefore it's good for me. If I didn't exist, is God good? Well, not really. I don't exist, then God isn't good for me because I'm not a thing.
But you think that God's goodness isn't absolute, it's only relative? What is it relative to?
Relative to each thing, you know, it's good for you, for example, since it's well, of course, you can't really compare God to normal human morality, but we're kind of flipping this to a talk about the existence of God or not. I was talking about why morality exists if God doesn't exist.
Oh, sorry. I think I got confused by the topic. I
So,
was mistakenly under the impression that it was like a talk about whether or not God exists.
yeah, I really mentioned exactly that. I said I do realize it's your main point to talk about that, but I would like to talk about how morality exists if God doesn't exist. Because I'm kind of, you know, I
Well, wait, but
have
if your view can't
questions
account
about
for
God's
morality,
existence too.
if your view is like incapable of accounting for morality, then why would you care?
Exactly. That's my question. Why should we care?
I'm
Why
asking
should we care
you,
about anything?
like, let's say it's true on your view that God doesn't account for ethics. Why would that have any bearing then on God's existence?
No. No. We're talking if God doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Not if God exists. If God exists, then you do something because God said so. That's it. There isn't
Why ought
really
I?
other sources.
What reason would I have to?
If God exists, we're saying if God exists, why
Yeah.
must you do what He says?
Why ought I do it? What reason
Because
do I have to do it?
He's the ultimate being. We are basically have no power relative to Him. We're literally not anywhere near capable of God.
What does that mean that I
God
ought to what he
created
tells
us.
me?
I mean, it's the better thing for you, like, no argument. I mean, if he's infinitely powerful, if he infinitely has knowledge, as all knowledge, then your judgment, you know for certain, is worse than his own.
But why? What reason do I have to do what he tells me to? Like, why is God saying
It's
that I should
better
do
for you. You
something?
can choose not to do it.
Better for me relative to my own goals?
Yep.
So then it does come
Get
back to
into
your own
heaven or hell.
goals.
Yep. If God exists, it's better for you to follow what God says to get either in heaven or hell.
That
This is
seems like it
your goal, to get to
couldn't
heaven. So if you go
possibly be
against it,
true.
you what?
So maybe do I have a delay on TikTok? I feel like okay. So it says in the Quran that God is the creator of your actions.
Can you show me the Arabic words?
Yeah.
I'm Egyptian, I can read Arabic. And hey, we are talking about God now.
We are. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me. Oh, yeah. Sorry. You wanted the Arabic, but I'll read it. He argued, how can you worship what you carve with your own hands when it is Allah who created you and whatever you do?
Yep. He
So-
ultimately created everything.
Does he create your actions?
Yeah, ultimately.
And then he tortures you forever for the actions that he created?
It's well, for me, I'm not. I was asking you about morality because this is the thing I'm kind of getting messed up here. neither in religion nor in atheism it seems to make sense. I mean, in atheism, it would make sense that there's no morality. In religion, going back to it, which I said that I didn't want to talk about because my view is it's as if you're making something. There's infinite possibility. There's so many possibilities. These possibilities are bad. When you create them and you have a reward system for them, and you constantly give something the indication that it's doing bad, you're not really doing something so horrible. And you know, if you make AI, for example, and you keep giving it the indicator that it's doing bad, you're torturing it. It's not really something
What
of
if?
value.
Well, but wait. What if you create all the things that it does? What if you're like the creator of? I don't know. For example, like, do you think God is the creator of? I don't know, the rape of Nanking. Do you think that God created those actions?
Well, let me ask you: if you make AI and then you constantly give it an indication signal that it's doing bad, are you morally sinful?
Not well. Depends what
It
the
doesn't matter. It doesn't
depends on
have
the
value.
circumstances. Depends what the AI is doing.
Wait, does what? It doesn't matter what the AI is doing. If you created it, you can do what you want. The AI, it doesn't
No,
have value relative to you.
no, I don't agree with that. I think that if it turns out that AI is like sentient, and you could do something that just like inflicts like unimaginable suffering on the AI, I would think I think you probably shouldn't do that. But
You feel for the AI? It's kind of funny, to
if
be
the AI
honest.
was sentient, yeah.
If you,
If God
okay, can you
gave a
translate
computer a soul,
sentient?
would it be wrong to torture that computer?
Wait, I'm translating the word sentient.
Like conscious, like
Oh, yeah.
has a mind, like feels
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, so basically AI does that.
I
It
don't
kind
know
of
if AI does
in a
that.
way.
I'm not sure.
In a way, it does, because when it gets to the bad signal, I mean, we get bad signal by chemicals. They get bad signals also in a way. So the AI tries to solve that in any way. Of course, they could even break other rules if you constantly give him that the indication that he's doing bad. The AI, so constantly torturing it. It just doesn't matter because the AI doesn't have value, even though its system can process that it's not doing well. If a human system can process that it's not doing well, and you torture it as human, you're doing bad. But as the creator of it, it doesn't have value relative to you other than what you give to it.
Wait, so if it turns out that AI has like a conscious experience and that it can feel like agony, and then you intentionally, for no reason, make it feel agony, do you think that would be a bad thing to do?
I don't know. What do you think? It
I
just
think that
sounds
that's like
funny to be
obviously
empathetic with
wrong.
AI.
I don't know, like if it turns out that AI is sentient and that you can do things to make it suffer, you
Can we
probably
get
shouldn't
to
do
the
that.
very basic
It's pretty
words
heartless.
that, for example, AI can process the feeling that it is doing bad? I mean,
That it's
is
doing
that what you
bad?
mean?
Wait, sorry. When you say doing bad, do you mean like doing evil?
No, it's getting yeah, for example, when it's doing evil, its rules, like it gets the indication that it's doing evil, which is something it's trying to avoid.
I don't
In
know
the
if
same
I'd
way that
say
humans
that
do
AI
that.
has
Humans are very
agency.
simple too, you know?
Or like, I don't know if I'd say that AI is a moral agent.
It's not on its own, it's given rules and it's following it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then I think that the moral responsibility
You're talking
there
by giving it rules.
is the human.
You're giving it rules, and humans are very simple too. You are giving them, they have a reward system. You know, it consists, of course, of more complicated things. But ultimately, you can imagine a human as if he's doing good, is getting good signal. If he's doing bad, he's doing bad signal. I mean, if you hurt your hand, it's not the pain. The pain is not a thing. It's your mind telling you that there is something happening in your leg. I mean, there isn't something that in your leg causing you the pain. It's a signal from your mind.
Maybe.
So yeah, human system works
Sure.
kind of the same way.
Sure. So what?
So if you make a machine and it has an indication, hey, you're doing bad, and you constantly give it that, are you morally torturing it? You kinda are to it, but it doesn't matter. You can do that. You can do that if you want.
If it had an experience in the same way that we have an experience, I think that it would be immoral to torture an AI for fun, if indeed you were capable of doing so. But I'm not
What I was
convinced that AI
explaining
has
a
an
while ago,
experience.
what I was explaining a while ago, the similarity between human experience and AI experience. How it has a system of reward and it has rules, and if it follows it, it's given a reward.
I don't
The
know if
same way
that's sufficient
humans.
for experience.
You mean it can be compared the same way? Like humans aren't the same?
Like, I don't know if my experience of pain is roughly similar to what an AI experiences, liberally
It's a
speaking.
signal that you shouldn't go this way. You should change this.
No, I understand that, but like for example, I could set up like a simple like robot that, you know, when it sees light, it turns around and it moves like a different way. I don't know if I would assume that AI, just based off of this, like when this, then that, I don't know if I would assume that, or it seems implausible to me to say that that's like pain.
How else do you think humans work? That's how humans work.
I guess I'm just skeptical that my Lego Mindstorm is sentient.
Well, you are sentient, and but it's materialistic. You can see that scientifically how that works. You have a reward system, and there are things that your body aims to achieve. You wanna spread your genes. You wanna eat, sleep, accumulate resources. Of course, this isn't the full thing. It's complicated.
No, I agree
These
with all of
things.
that. Yeah, that's fine. But I think that
Yeah.
there's more to
So,
that. I don't know
yep.
if
There.
just that alone
There's
gives the
complex.
experience. But
It's
okay, wait,
complex.
how does
But
this relate
ultimately,
back to God? I'm a bit confused.
So, of course, we were talking about how God created humans and you yourself created AI. So you created AI, the AI doesn't really have value other than what you give it. So if AI created a human,
Do you think
God
if
created a
I
human,
create a child, do you think I can do anything I want to that child?
no, you can't create a child.
You can't.
If you create
Oh
AI,
boy, I have bad news for you.
I don't mean that way.
I'm not
You
sure.
get the point.
I'm not sure I do. Why wouldn't I say that you're creating the child?
Well, in our sense well, in our society as humans, we protect children. We consider it bad to do that. You, as a human, have a natural bias to spread your genes and to protect your children to spread your genes further.
I just didn't really engage
If
with
you
the
do
question
that,
at all. I'm kind of concerned that we keep speaking past each other.
wait. Wasn't your question is, can you hurt a child if you created it?
In what sense would you say that you don't create the child? You're saying
Oh,
that if you
right.
create something that gives you the moral justification for, I don't know, like torturing it.
You didn't fully create it, and you're at its level of consciousness. Also, it's not really that you're morally not allowed to torture a child. I mean, this was my full question. You can't torture a full child. I would fight you for that, of course. I would stop you from doing that. But if you're asking me philosophically, why can't you do that? This was my question.
Well, what I'm trying. Okay, we just spoke past each other again. I feel like this keeps happening.
Okay. I don't see how I think I answered the question.
So, okay, I'm asking, in what sense are you not the creator of them? I'm not asking, I'm going into this assuming that both of us think that it's wrong to torture them, But you're saying because God's the creator of us, he can torture us. Do you think that it would be like just, let's say the world was nothing but humans getting tortured. You just spawn in and you get tortured forever. Would that be just?
There is no justice there. There is no justice. It's just nothing has a value there.
But
Justice
would
is
that be
something
good?
that we created.
Would that be wrong?
It's not. It's not cool. It's just. I mean, justice is something that we created.
But on your view, would that be wrong?
It wouldn't have value. It wouldn't matter at all because we created justice. At that universe, justice doesn't exist.
Listen,
There's
man,
basically.
I take that as a reductio. I'm sorry. There might just be like a language barrier, but I don't know, man. If you're saying that it's like neither good nor bad, okay. HTC, thanks so much for the super chat. Is there an example of something that's almost an agent but not quite, such that it doesn't fall under the scope of your moral argument? If so, what's missing? I don't know. Maybe I do wonder about AI more and more. I think that there's a lot of pressing ethical questions that are going to be on the horizon related to AI. I'm the Big Cheese. Thanks so much for the super chat. God can't be compared to a programmer or a designer because by virtue, it will mean God isn't necessary alone. God would depend on some axiomatic set of rules/conditions for what is a universe. Oh, that's true. Sure. Yeah. Insofar as like the coder codes. Slightly agnostic. Thanks so much for the super chat. Make Ian bearded again. The girlfriend won't allow it. The girlfriend's going to veto it. I do think it's fun that I can fluctuate my age by like 20 years by just growing out the beard and then shaving it. Rowdy Vado, thanks so much for the super chat. Ian is the GOAT. Thanks. Appreciate that. Very kind of you. All right, let's go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going? Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Yep. What religion?
I'm a Christian.
Yep. What makes you think God exists?
Have you ever heard of the argument from motion?
I do, and I think it's self-defeating. Do you want to lay the argument out?
Yeah, I can lay it out real quick.
Sure.
You would agree that change exists, correct?
Sure. Yeah, change exists.
And change is the actualization of potential, or in other words, it's something moving from what it could be to what it actually is currently, correct?
So I think that this is where you're going to run into self-defeat. Okay, so change exists. Change is the actualization of potential. You should lay out the rest of the argument, and then I'll show how the argument undermines the second premise. The conclusion is going to end up undermining it.
Okay, cool. Potential is what something could be, a future possibility, not a current reality. Actualization is what something is right now. Something's current reality. Nothing can change itself. Potential can't make itself actual. Okay. It needs something already actual to trigger it.
Okay.
This creates a chain of actualization.
This creates a chain.
The chain can't go back to infinity.
You cannot go back.
And infinity, it can't go back to infinity. An infinite series of dependent changers, like with no starting point, there would be nothing that gets started at all.
Okay.
Therefore, the chain must lead to a purely actualizer.
The
A starting
chain
point with
must
no
lead
potential to fulfill.
to a purely actualized actualizer.
A
So
purely actualizer.
a purely actual actualizer.
And this purely actualizer is who we call God.
Okay. Do you think that God is, do you think the purely actual actualizer is eternally actualizing, or do you think that it changes and begins to actualize at some point?
We would say that the purely actualizer is eternally actualizing.
Okay, the purely actual actualizer is eternally actualizing. If the purely actual actualizer is eternally actualizing, then the universe eternally exists, or then each change eternally exists.
No, that's not how that will work.
You think that you can have actualization without a thing being actualized?
Because what do you think eternity is?
Existing
what would you, like if somebody,
without beginning to exist or ending your existence.
Or we could essentially say there's no time.
No, because you could have an eternal thing that's temporal.
How can something eternal also be temporal?
Because time could go back infinitely, and then something could always exist.
That contradicts the definition of eternity. Something can't be eternal and also in time at the same time.
I promise you it doesn't.
Hold on, wait. I think we're talking past each other. Something eternal can be in time. What I'm saying is that something eternal also existed outside of time. Correct?
Something eternal was outside of time?
Yes, this purely actual actualizer would have existed outside of time.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine granting that.
So if this purely actualizer existed outside of time, he would be eternally actualizing.
Yep, that's the problem.
Just because the universe existing is time, is in time. The eternal actualization is going on eternally, which is outside of time.
Is it possible for God to actualize a chain of change without that chain getting actualized?
Is it possible for him to actualize a chain of change without the change being actualized? No.
Sure. And God is eternally actualizing every chain of change, right?
Correct.
Okay, then all of these chains of change are eternally actualized.
Correct.
Okay, then you collapse into this view where the entire timeline is actual. And
but do you see how you just said time?
Yes.
The eternal actualization is going on. But that's what I'm saying. The eternal actualization is going on outside of time.
No, I get that. But the problem is that the changes are happening in time.
So you can't then the time in itself is a change. Time is the measurement. Time is the measurement of change.
Sure, you could take that stance. Yeah.
So at the time, you wouldn't agree that time is the measurement of change.
It's contentious in philosophy of time. Like, for example, if you're an absolutist about time, you're going to hold that time is its own independent object, and that change is grounded in time. Whereas if you're a relationalist about time, you're going to hold that time is just these like before and after relations. And then at that point, you might say that time is grounded in change. So, but that's kind of neither here nor there. So
yeah, that's switching the argument a little. Well, that would be changing the topic a little bit.
Yeah.
But if we were to agree, just for the sake of argument, that time is the measurement of change.
Sure, that's fine.
Time being actualized is a change. It would be a change that's happening, but it would have to be happening eternally.
And in time, so it's a contradiction.
How? That wouldn't make sense. I think it's because you're trying to place something that's happening eternally in time.
Well, okay, so
I could do that.
I could express this pretty easily. You don't want to say that time gets actualized, because then you run into this problem. If time gets actualized, then a timeless phase of reality changes into a temporal phase of reality.
What do you mean by that?
That there's like some state of affairs where there's no succession, and then it changes into a state of affairs where there is succession.
So just to clarify, so I can make sure I understand what you're saying if time gets actualized, then a timeless phase of reality. So there was a point where nothing was going on, and then now there's something going on. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that there'd be like
Okay.
these two states of reality, and then you'd change from one to the other. So if time gets actualized, then a timeless phase of reality changes into a temporal phase of reality. If something changes, then it's in time. The timeless
I can see
phase
the
of
confusion there.
is not in
I can see
time.
the
Therefore,
yeah.
time does not get actualized.
I can see the confusion there. And honestly, if I'm being real, I can say I don't completely know how to respond to that issue of it. But I'm gonna look more into it. I appreciate you for your time.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Hey, thanks so much for
Yep.
coming on up. In fact, you might
Yep.
be interested to learn, I don't want to keep you too long. You might be interested to learn that that's actually Aristotle's argument. He believed in an eternal universe.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Thanks so much. Appreciate
Appreciate it, boss. Yep. Have a
Yep.
good one.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye. At least he was nice. I can always respect that. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, and all that good stuff. If you are in that guest request box, make sure that you are 18 or older, that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. You can also be a deist. I'll accept that one too. And that we will go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yep. How old are you?
25.
And what religion?
Christian.
Oop. If you're off the app, I can't hear you.
Oh, Christian. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. What makes you think God exists?
Through my own like personal experiences and like, it's not just like I believe God exists just because the Bible says so. You know, it's more of actually like seeking it for myself and like kind of experiencing like unexplainable, you know, like experiencing it. Like, how can you believe in a miracle if you've never seen one or never experienced one? You know what I'm saying?
Why would God
So
want
it's
to
like,
give you a personal experience? Like, what goal of God's did that accomplish to give you the personal experience?
yeah, so God wants to have a relationship with you, you know? So part of having that relationship is, you know, like, how are you gonna, if you go at it from the perspective of like, oh, I'm just gonna talk to this guy in the clouds and whatever first thing comes in my head, that's God. Like, that's not what it is. Because the Bible says, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be opened for you. You know, so it's like kind of a participating thing. You can't, you know, I don't know how else to like explain it other than that.
Okay. Do you think that a personal experience is the optimal way to form a relationship with you?
What do you mean? Can you
Like, okay,
like,
God's goal, God is trying to achieve something. He's trying to achieve having a relationship with you. Do you think that this
yeah.
is the most efficient way to have a relationship with people, is to give them a personal experience?
No, well, everybody's like
So-
kind of different, you know what I mean? Like, you could have like, for example, you could tell your friend, like, give him some advice and he never listens to you, and then like somebody else says like the same thing, and then he listens to their advice because he heard it from somebody else, type of deal. You know what I mean? And you're like, bro, I've been telling you this for like 20 years, like, finally. And it's like kind of like one of those things, so you can't really.
Sure. So, how would you explain the fact that some people go their entire lives seeking and then they never find? That would seem to be just a straightforward disproof.
Seeking and never finding. Can you give me like an example? Just because, like,
Yeah, I mean, for example, the goat himself, Alex O'Connor, he's spent tons and tons of time talking to scholars, reading, philosophy of religion, praying, doing all that stuff.
Yep.
And he never had anything.
Yeah, so what I can tell you is, so the Bible says that man judges on the outside appearance and God judges on the intentions of your heart. So if you're like, it doesn't matter, you could pray until you're blue in the face, go to church 30 times a week, that doesn't mean that you have a relationship with God. It's all on the intentions of your heart. He looks on the inside of the person. So for example, if you just want, like, if you're praying for God to bless you financially, for example, but it's only because you want to, like, flex on all the haters, like, he's not gonna get in that boat with you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just not, that's the character of God. It's not how he operates.
So, okay, let me type out this contradiction, and you can tell me which part specifically you disagree with. So
Yeah.
we got, if you seek God, then you will find him. Some people seek God and do not find him.
Yep.
These two things are contradictory.
So what are you asking me?
Both of these things can't be true.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Either if you seek God, then you'll find him, or, like, if you accept that
Yep.
seeking God
Yeah,
means
so
that you'll find him, then you have to reject that there is anybody that seeks God and doesn't find him. Like, basically, you would have to say, like, a ton of people are liars. That people that spend their entire lives trying to find God, trying to pray, trying to do anything, that these people are just lying.
no, so what the Bible says, God says that my people suffer for their lack of knowledge. So you can try and seek God, but if you're not doing it his way, then it's going to be really hard for you. Like, if you're trying to build your own doctrine and kind of like if you're just going to go drink some ayahuasca, climb a mountaintop and do all these crazy things, and then you meet, like, the wolf god or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that isn't the, because I'm talking about specifically the God of the Bible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very different than what other religions or other cultures can, like, say as God. And some people also too say, like, oh well, like I believe in God, right? But it's more than just believing. Like, even demons believe in God. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that they're gonna be like if you're not, how are you going to
Wait, sorry.
like, how are you gonna,
But maybe what would be helpful, do you think one or two is false? We have two things on the board. They contradict each other. Which one of them is false?
I would say number 2.
Okay, so you think that every single person that seeks God finds him?
Yes.
What about all the people that seek God and don't find him? All the people that seek God the way that you think that they should, by going to church, by praying, by, reading the Bible, by, like, trying to find him.
Yep. So you also have to keep in mind that, like, the devil also exists, right? So devil's main goal is to steal, kill, and destroy, and to confuse you, right? So there, you could, for example, right? So you'll meet some Christians that believe in healing. You'll meet other people that don't believe in healing, or, like, you know what I mean? They don't think the Holy Spirit is of today. They're like, oh, that was just for the 12 disciples. Like, there's so many different like, denominations that have different views of like how it works. You know what I mean?
But do you think those people are seeking? Like, the people that are going to church and praying and, they want to believe it's true. They just want evidence for it. Do you think that those people are seeking?
Yeah, but you can still be misled. Like you can still go to a bad church where they teach you bad doctrine, and then your belief on that. So like for example, like I can give you an example. Like if somebody was praying, right, for their their grandma or something to get like healed of cancer or something, and then she ends up dying, and like God, like there'll be like, okay, so obviously healing isn't for today. Like I prayed and God didn't answer my prayers, therefore he's not real.
I'm kind of curious. It's a bit unrelated, but what denomination are you? What denomination do you think is the true one?
I'm non-denominational.
No shot. You think Protestantism is the true denomination?
The what?
Protestantism? You think Protestantism is the true one? The one that wasn't around for the first like 1700 years of church history?
No, I'm just saying that when you put all these denominations, it creates a lot of separation in the church, because then you end up being like, oh, so the Baptists are going to heaven and the evangelical ones aren't. And like it's on this turn where it's really, the Bible says it very clear. It's just your faith. Like if you believe that Jesus is the Son of God, that he died for your sins, and that you're saved, and that he's coming back again, like then you're free. Like it's really simple. Like the gospel is supposed to be so simple that like a child can understand it. So when you start trying to like complicate it, the thing is a lot of people start adding their own ideas and their own ideologies to it. So when you start adding and taking away from what's in the book, now we're not even talking about the same God. We're talking about the God that you created, you know, because he's not going to follow your rules, you know?
Okay, so I
it's
guess like to undo my derail. So
Yeah.
you said that there are some people that seek and then they just go to the wrong church so they don't find. So you do think that there are some people that seek God but don't find him?
I kind of see where you're going with this, yeah. So I'm saying that those people are just like being deceived, you know what I mean? Like what they're like, they might think that they're seeking God, but they're not really seeking like a true like the true relationship, like the God from the Bible, like the way it, like if.
But they go to church.
The thing is, that doesn't matter. So many people go to
Which
go to
God
church
do you think they're
they,
seeking?
Well, the thing is like when I say seeking God, I'm talking about like you have like, because he's either going to be everything or he's going to be nothing, you know? So it really like boils down to that. Like if you're not going to actually like surrender your heart and like fully seek him, because then you'll be able, like if you, like the Bible says, like once the Holy Spirit comes in you, you get that like discernment, you know, you'll get discernment. It's kind of, the Holy Spirit is like your helper throughout life. So it's kind of like when you get that like gut feeling, just like you get a gut feeling when you're like hear an argument and you're like, oh, I'm not sure that's exactly correct. It's kind of like the same thing. Like
So
when
it's
you're really
vibes.
truly led by the Spirit, you can, like you can go inside a church and be like, okay, these are like the Kool-Aid drinking like crazy ones, you know? And either you like,
So it is
you
vibes
like fall in
based.
there.
It's like,
you know what I mean?
It's like super subjective. Like clearly the people that are drinking the Kool-Aid, they think it's the shit, you know, they think it's the business.
Exactly, but they don't realize that they're actually being deceived, because if they...
How do you know that you're not being deceived?
Through the evidence in my life. Like when I pray, God shows up. Like if you got hit by a baseball bat,
they have evidence
you
in
know
their
you
lives
got...
too.
Like what?
Like all these people, if you go into a church that you think has rancid vibes, all these people are going to have like personal experiences. Muslims have personal experiences.
Yeah, I'm not trying to... It's like those experiences aren't real, but I'm saying it might not be the actual, like the Spirit of God, because if you also keep in mind too, right? Like I said, so the devil, right, wants to deceive you and is all like about like confusion. And he was also an angel in heaven, right? So he knows the Bible better than anybody, better than you, me, like any scholar ever. He knows it better than anyone. So he can come, and just because you feel or like whatever, you see these signs or whatever, doesn't mean it's always from God. So a lot of people just think it's kind of like you give somebody a hammer and they think everything's a nail. It's not like that. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I saw my angel numbers today. That means that, like, you have to like come at it like,
Well, here's
kind of,
here's a
you know.
question. If the devil was deceiving you, what would be
Yeah.
different about your life?
So you can tell the Bible says you can tell by the fruits. So you could tell, like, if you, like, an apple tree has apples, right?
Mhm.
So like if I'm telling you, like you'll meet so many miserable like Christians where there's like actually nothing going on in their lives. They don't have any fruit of, like, you know what I mean? Like, so like they're like more
Can I
depressed
inquire
than-
about your moral fruit?
Yeah.
Do you think it's
So,
ever like morally justified to command a genocide?
morally justified to command a genocide?
Yeah. Would that ever be morally justified?
So, okay, I know where you're going with this, because you're gonna talk about how God's done that in the Bible, right?
I just want to see if you have like the good moral fruits by asking you
Yeah.
if you think that it's ever morally justified to command a genocide.
Because when you have a real relationship with God, the Holy Spirit comes in you. You're gonna adopt the characteristics and the mind of Christ, and you're gonna value every single human life. You know what I mean? You're not going to you're gonna want to show those people the love of Christ. You're not gonna want to kill them all because whatever reason, you know.
Okay, so
Because you can't, since you didn't create life in the first place, like, you don't have the right to take it away. It's in the 10 Commandments. You know what I mean? Like,
I say this all the time about abortion, by the way. But yeah. So, but do you think that it's ever morally justified to, command a genocide?
No. Well, no.
Okay, so you do think it was morally unjustified for God to do that?
But that, I just said to you, though, it's different when it's us. You can't. The Bible says vengeance is for the Lord, you know. And there's so like you can't just take vengeance in your own hands. Like you can't just be like, oh, you did me wrong, so I'm gonna take you out. You know, that isn't your place. Vengeance, like, you need to leave that up for the Lord. Like, you don't get to decide who lives and who dies.
Sure.
That's, you know.
Sure.
So God
but
God freely gave us life. He can freely take it whenever he wants.
Okay, so if God, I don't know, like sent down the angels and they just started like corralling us into death camps, would that be good?
Corralling us into death camps.
Yeah, they just come down with their like angelic weapons. They're immune to bullets, and they just start rounding us up into camps.
So the thing is,
turning
God,
us into.
No, God will never. He's never going to judge his own. Like, he's never going to punish his own people. So if you, like, if you aren't, like, if you're an enemy of God, then there's always warnings. Like, there's always, like, the Bible says, I give you life and death, blessings and curses. I hope that you choose life. So you get to choose what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, if God is warning you, like, hey, like, if you don't, like, buckle up, then this is gonna happen. Like,
do you think God has the power to send the angels down and have them round us all up into death camps?
He's never rounded us up in death camp.
But
there's stories of the angel
power
coming and all that, but the thing is you're using like a graphic like description of like something humans would do like in the past, and that's not like God doesn't have the nature of like of a man.
But I'm wondering if he has the power to.
You know what I mean? He's divine, and yes, because God is just, right? So part of being just is bringing justice.
Okay.
So if you
So he
break the
does
law,
have the power,
right? Then you're guilty. So if you went and you shot up whatever place and they gave you the death penalty, like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of
Is there a
same
reason why you're
thing.
not answering?
What do you mean? I just answered you.
Okay, does God have the power to do that?
Yes, God can
Okay.
do whatever he wants.
Sure. And, you know, is it possible then for God to send down the angels and have them like round us up into like death camps?
Then, okay, to make you happy, yes, it would be possible.
If God did that, would it be good?
Depends on the context, bro.
What context would make that good?
So, what did they do? Like, what's
Context would
the
make that
crime over
bad?
here?
I thought God just has the right to take life.
If you're innocent.
Like the Amalekite infants?
The Amalekite infants?
Yeah, God kills the Amalekite infants. Yes, he says, thus says the Lord of hosts, I will punish the Amalekites for what they did in opposing the Israelites when they came up out of Egypt. Now go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.
Okay.
Was that bad?
Because God is just. So if you make yourself out to be an enemy of God, then like that's your serving. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
But are those infants innocent?
So this is the thing. Like, if you were to go do that, it's totally like, it's not your place, because you don't have divine judgment, and you're like didn't create the life in the first place.
Well, I'm just curious. Do you think that the infants were guilty? Because you said that it would be unjust for God to command a slaughter of innocent people.
Yeah, but you have to keep in mind too, those children didn't have the choice of, like, their parents made the choice for them. And that happens a lot today too, where you're not the person that's making the decisions for your life, and it's somebody else, and then that blood ends up being on their hands.
You think generational punishment is just?
So because you're kind of taking it out of context too, because like that was part of that was part of the plagues that God sent to free Pharaoh's people. And it was very, very apparent, like he gave a way out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you don't take the way out, then I don't know what to tell you.
Well, so there was a type of punishment in China called the 9 familial exterminations. When there was a criminal that did something that was deemed like very bad, they would torture the criminal to death. They'd kill the criminal's parents, grandparents, children, grandchildren, siblings, uncles, aunts, cousins, spouses parents. Do you think that was just? Is that like a just thing to do?
No, because that isn't.
But I thought guilt.
Judgment.
Oh, so if God did the 9 familial exterminations, would that be fine?
There's divine judgment, and then there's the judgment of man. So you're.
I'm asking about like divine judgment. Like if God came down and did like a 9 familial extermination, would that be chill?
Well, if God is God, then he can do whatever he wants, whether you think it's chill or not.
I'm asking you, God. Do you think that would be good?
I personally, my belief is that God's understanding is higher than mine. So
you would?
I'm not going to question. What were you saying?
You're saying you would think. Oops, sorry. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Oop. Sorry. Hello. Yeah, I just had a lag spike again. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yep. Are you saying yes? You would think that it's good?
If it came from God, then I'm not going to question why God's doing what he's doing.
Okay. I mean, that kind of tells me what I need to know about your moral fruits then. You know, I think that's absurd. But hey, I appreciate you coming on up here. You know, we have a new video. Oh, it's this guy. This guy is so silly. Okay, it's titled, This Theist Claims He Built a Conscious Machine.
Google me.
Yeah, what do I
Google
Google? Oracle
Right now,
by
Dakota
Delphi
Stewart-
Labs?
Dakota Stewart, Oracle AI, and while you're at it,
Dakota Stewart.
Oracle AI. Brother, look in front of you.
Oh, no shot, dude. This is, you shouldn't have shared this. You're like a lol cow. This is actually fantastic. This is so much better than I thought it'd be.
Yeah,
Dakota Stewart says he built a conscious AI alone in Nampa, Idaho, with no investors.
one of my
Here's
many
what we
articles,
found. Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Banger. Banger. Let's read some supers. Vilena, thanks so much for the super chat. What is luck? Some people that are tuned, very lucky. I don't really know what this is asking. Maybe I just don't get it. Person learns religion. Thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate you. With that, I'm leaving. I'm heading on out. I don't know. Who else is live? Is Justin live? Justin's live. Yeah. I like Justin. You like Justin too. Come to think of it. You guys should go give Justin a raid. You should go check out the new video. All right. I love all of you. I'll see you all later. We have the reading group. We're reading that one chapter in On Virtue Ethics. It's this Saturday. We're doing 2 Saturdays in a row to make up for it. It's this Saturday. It's going to be fun. All right. And then tonight at 8:30, there's a feminist reading group led by Lizzie. And then there's the Wittgenstein reading group on Sundays. And then we have the No God Tour. It's coming up on October 10th and then November 13th and 14th. So, okay, wait. Sorry, let me give details here. So, okay, it's live in New York City on 10/10. You can get tickets on pangburn.com, pang-burn.com. You can get tickets to the San Francisco show, which is the 13th, November the 13th, and then the LA show is November the 14th. It's going to be fun. It's me, Justin, and Blitz. I'll be cheesed to meet you. All right. Thank you all so much for coming on out here. And I'll see you all later.